that menu was really official, they would give them the, I guess it's the seal of approval, which comes with the benefits of being able to say officially certified Italian food. This is a topic that ain't going away with. This is going to be here for a long time.
I think so, and I think it's fascinating because you bring up some really good points about who should be the one to decide what you call something, and what if you live like where I do in San Diego, where you have a lot of Mexican food restaurants. How do you space them around far enough to where landlords aren't arguing that there's an issue between different leases? So I think we'll be revisiting food court. We'll call it back into session.
Yeah, well, I'm going to look into pursuing this because the Food Network would pay us fancily for
for sure,
holding a weekly food court where we could decide and things to catering. We'd have great food every single time. Oh my gosh,
you know what? That alone is an incentive, isn't it?
Yeah, and then after food court is wine court, and then everybody goes home.
Okay.
It's very different. All right, Wendy, we have to take a quick break here. Hang on just 1 second. I want to come back because there is a very serious topic we need to talk about in the law, but it's kind of strange. So we'll get to that just around the corner. Mike Opelka in for Trey Radel on The Drive on 92.5 Fox News, right all along.
Fox News. Right.
You're clear.
Dr. Roberts in the studio with you. Dr. B. We
That worked out, huh?
Booster shot.
Oh, yeah.
In it.
What, you just stop it?
After their second shot.
What? You just stopped it and then like queued it out?
It's going to be
Yeah, and I've got, how much time do we have in this next block?
Some people are going to have higher antibody response, which is what we're trying to attain. Some people are going to have lower. Some people are
just under 8 minutes.
If you've had the
vaccine, perfect. Because I got a 4.5 minute follow-up with Wendy, and they'll give me a couple minutes on the back end.
As time goes on,
yep, perfect.
High, remain steady.
I have to close it live though, I think. Let me listen to the end.
You never need a booster. Who knows? On the contrary, if it's
it sounds pretty live, doesn't it?
Then you can make.
Oh yeah, you can't tell.
When would be appropriate?
It's a very interesting case that you bring up, and we have long known that
online md.b.com.
Going away, Wendy. This is one we're going to revisit, like we will the food cases. So I hope you'll hang out with me and we can talk about it going forward.
Sounds like a plan.
Her name is Wendy Patrick. Find her at wendypatrick.com. Best place you should go, though, is on Twitter and follow what Wendy's up to. There's some really terrific stuff, including her articles at Psychology Today. Thanks so much, Wendy.
Real overstock early sell-off this week, and we must finance 50 Rio bike by this Sunday. Well, it ends this Sunday. Rockstar RV is Florida's #1 volume Harley dealer.
It's Fred Kobe with your Kobe Cooling Tip of the Day. Do you know that a lot of people tell me they didn't know we do home inspections? Yet we have a sister company called Kobe Inspection Services, and it's right there on our vans. That's right, folks. We do real estate inspections and wind mitigation inspections. We've been voted the best home inspector in Southwest Florida year after year in the news press polls. And when we inspect your home, we're not just inspecting it as a home inspector. We're also the most credentialed air conditioning contractor and mold investigator in the business. So if you need a real estate inspection or a wind mitt 4-point inspection, you can call Kobe Inspection Services at the same.
All right, and for those of you who are joining us on the live stream, I'm still at work, and so we are live streaming as I'm finishing up producing The Drive with Trey Radel. And as soon as this is over, right at the top of the hour, I'm then going to attempt to take you guys on a tour of the TV and radio stations here. We have 3 or 4 TV stations, 8 radio stations. So we're going to take you on a tour of as much of that as we can. So hang in there with us until we get done producing the show here. You're live.
20 minutes after 7 o'clock on a Friday. Mike Opelka in for Trey on The Drive, and I'll be back on Monday morning in for Drew. I kind of like.
We have a fill-in host tonight. If you're wondering what's going on.
And I love this audience. You guys are always so kind and generous and participatory. And our friend Wendy Patrick's on hold. We'll get back to Wendy in just a second here. We have to talk about this second legal story. I'm keeping an eye on. I'm not watching the Olympics. Not 1 second. I don't want to watch any of it. But I am watching the news that Putin and she, which is weird because it's a pronoun, right? But it's XI. Putin and the president of China, the communist dictator of China, are making a big stinking deal about how good friends they are right now, how buddy they are, very warm and friendly. And I think it's all Bravo Sierra. I think it's meant to make us nervous. And I honestly don't believe, like somebody who wrote into the show on 239-479-5592 talking text line, that they don't believe Putin's ever going to invade. I don't think he is either. The Ukrainians don't believe. If you walk around Kiev, not that you would, apparently the sentiment is, why is everyone from the West freaking out? We've been dealing with Putin's troops in our country or on our border since 2014 when Obama and Biden let this happen the first time. And I honestly don't believe. So I say everybody calm down. We have great military strength and we have great economic strength. And I hope we will apply both if necessary. I don't want any American troops on the ground, but I don't mind us flexing our muscles and showing off what we do have. All right, let's get back to it. This is an interesting case. The story that I stumbled into a couple days ago about a woman who went into the metaverse, the virtual world, that I have no idea why anyone would go into a fake world when the real world is so much more fun. But they seem to have bitten the apple from Facebook and said, yeah, we're going to come play in the metaverse because it's cool in there. No, it's not. It's stupid. It's not real. But a woman went in there and claims that she was molested, virtually raped. It's really weird. It's an awful thing to even consider. And now she's talking about lawsuits and criminal penalties. And so our attorney friend, Wendy Patrick, is with us. Wendy, is there any basis in reality for all this craziness in the fantasy world?
You know, it's a very interesting case that you bring up. And, you know, we have long known that video games have just gotten incredibly violent over the years. I mean, when I was growing up, we played like Pac-Man and Space Invaders.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there weren't like, you know, ninjas.
All right, just a little bit of behind the scenes. He's in another state. We are remoted with him via the internet using a program called TriCast. We connect with him through an internet computer in that room, and then that goes through the back and comes onto the board here. The interview you're hearing him do, he actually did earlier today, and he's actually playing the interview back as live. And so that's what we're doing right now. And I think we got one more interview we're going to try to get to in the next half hour. It's fairly common in radio to can up some things ahead of time, especially interviews, so that you can just play them during the show when you're ready.
Like it, those types of things that she was alleging. So it really was a very traumatic act, although it wasn't in real life. And then the question then becomes, should that kind of conduct be permitted in the virtual world? I mean, obviously, I'm probably not going to send anybody to jail for this type of thing, but you can imagine if it got to
Basically, the two bottom screens are the station computer. The two top screens are what we call the editing computer or the internet computer, the one we use everything, we do everything else on. The bottom one directly controls what you hear on the station. It controls what comes into 6 of these different pots here. Pot is just short for potentiometers. And there is our 3 main ones and our 3 button bar potentiometers here. And right now he's coming through over here, which is coming from that room in there. So I've got him turned up right now and everything else is down or it's in standby. The next break fires automatically on a macro and it will begin to play the music. And then he knows that that music gets him out at a certain time. I'll have to tell him he's clear because he's remote and he needs to know that he's no longer on so he can talk to me directly. We'll do that here in just a second. We've got about 2.5 minutes in this segment, and then we're going to play some music and go into another break. So hang in there. This is the Southwest Florida TechNet, and I thought it would be kind of cool tonight to do a little bit of a radio TV station tour. So that's what we're doing. We are already live on YouTube tonight. And we are also live on Zoom. So hang in there and we're going to be staying with you. And then I'll be doing part of the show on the ride home in the car. So this ought to be interesting. We're going to see how this goes tonight. Joseph will also be in with us as well, co-hosting with me. So hang in there. We'll be hanging out here with you as we finish producing the show here. Got about 35 minutes of show, and then we're going to go do a long tour of the building.
Posting under their own names, you still have to have proof and trace IP addresses and all the other things that come along with sort of tying a real life identity to an avatar. So this is a lot easier said than done. But I do agree, if the virtual world gets ugly and gets traumatic for users, that is, they really should not be. I mean, obviously it shouldn't be going on to begin with, but that would be a form to avoid for sure.
Yeah, I just, the only reality in all of this crazy virtual world is somewhere the lawyers are going, there's got to be a way for us to make money on this. We have to be able to file suits against virtual people and get virtual money put into our virtual accounts so we can build virtual offices and cities and have virtual yachts and all that stuff. This ain't going away, Wendy. This is one we're going to revisit, like we will the food cases. So I hope you'll hang out with me and we can talk about it going forward.
Oh, sounds like a plan.
Her name is Wendy Patrick. Find her at wendypatrick.com. Best place you should go, though, is on Twitter and follow what Wendy's up to, because there's some really terrific stuff, including her articles at Psychology Today. Thanks so much, Wendy. And there she goes. And it's wendypatrickphd.com. I screwed up. wendypatrickphd.com. All right, we got to take a break. It's Michael Pelka, in for Trey on the drive. Let's talk about cars and some other stuff just around the corner on 92.5 Fox News. Right all along.
You're clear.
All righty then. Thank you.
All right, well, that's how that's done. We got 30 minutes left.
Who said this subject? What were they talking about when they said this subject deserves no airtime?
This one.
Really, about the virtual crime?
Yeah, I don't think sometimes people get things on a deep enough level.
92.5 Fox News.
Because people are so superficial sometimes. They're like, oh, that doesn't bother me. And it's like the taking of anyone's civil rights should bother you. The blowing out of proportion of something that's not something that should be even discussed should be a concern to you, because if it doesn't affect you today, it will one day.
Yeah.
We can save you money for the same or better coverage.
Putin apparently faked sleeping when the Ukrainian team was introduced to the Olympics.
Oh, geez. Did he wear a shirt?
Yeah, it's so funny. When you look at Biden being helped off the stage.
For over 45 years.
I've got another recorded interview here. Oh God, this is too long. It's 12 minutes long.
Well, we got 2 segments again. You can go long in the next one. Your last spot block is only 2 minutes long. So you're gonna literally have like 20 minutes.
3633.
It gives people jobs. Yeah, this is all really a great solution, and I'm a big fan of saying if you're gonna complain about something, you better have us
Like them on Facebook.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Have a solution before you. I used to have a boss that told me you can complain about anything as long as you follow it up with how you are going to help us fix it.
That's right. Part of the problem, or you're part of the solution.
You have 1 90-second break to clear in the next 23 minutes.
Oh, cool.
So you got plenty of time if you want to play that. It's up to you.
I'm gonna, because it's good, and she's in Naples. She's at the Ferrari on 5th.
Oh, yeah, that's local. That's good.
A lot of times it's a difference between your sympathetic fight or flight part of your nervous system and your parasympathetic rest and digest part of your nervous system.
But what I do,
When you get adjusted, that actually helps rebalance your fight or flight with your rest and digest.
And if you pay per act, could be there. You, on the other hand, are there, and they've had a spate of. Yes, happy weekend. I am snuck away from cold New York.
not becoming one or the other, could be me.
He's in
Or it could be
warm
you.
Naples for a very
Studies
special
show that
purpose.
forget-
See,
Then it's the president Biden, they say they have
There's the news.
Love the fact that you're actually there, because when I broadcast in Naples, I have to do it remotely. I wish I could be there. You, on the other hand, are there, and they've had a spate of cold weather. They had to put out the warnings for the falling iguanas this week.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
Yeah.
that. No, it's 84 degrees. I'm sitting here in the sun talking to you and I'm enjoying every moment.
And I hope your toes grow together. That's really how I feel. Lauren, now you said you're in town for a really special event. What are you doing? What are you involved with?
It's called Ferraris on Fifth and Fifth Street or Fifth Avenue in Naples, Florida, just outside of Old Naples. They have all these Ferraris. It started out as a small event.
Really how I feel. Lauren, now you said you're in town for a really special event. What are you doing? What are you involved with?
Weather Authority. For this evening, a few limited areas of rain are going to be possible, especially inland, and most are dry. Low temperature of 65 degrees as we start your Saturday morning with a chance for some spotty rain. And then a few more isolated showers are possible by the second half of the day. It's going to be a little bit cooler, 75 degrees, thanks to a weak front. As we hit your Sunday, another chance of isolated rain, few showers into the mix on Monday, as high temperatures for the next 7 to 10 days will be averaging into the 70s, which is pretty typical for February. Our next best chance of rain will be around Tuesday and Wednesday. With Wing News, I'm Chief Meteorologist.
Darn, no snow.
Ready to fight me.
Back in 1 minute. Like I said, you have 1 2-minute break to clear, so you can take it all the way to like 53 or 54 if you have to.
Listening skills. My dad told me at 8:20, Michael, you're a man now. You're allowed to be married. You have responsibilities. You'd be a fool to start your own business. I did what any loving son would do. I started 5 of them.
It's really, really hard to walk out of class or meeting with peers.
This is why my 5th successful business, Patriot Software, created accounting software to help non-accountants like me keep accurate accounting records. Go to patriotsoftware.com.
You know, when I put together the kids' groups.
And get 2 months of accounting software free. That's patriotsoftware.com.
All right, here we go.
You don't want to miss what Mark Levin's talking about. Tonight at 8, after Trey Radel. Keep it right here. 92.5 Fox News. Right along.
You're live.
I like this a lot. Is it Dre? Is that Dr. Dre? Yeah,
I have no idea.
I think it is. I think it is. I think this. It's Friday. It's Michael Pelka in for Trey, and I believe that's a little bit of Dr. Dre. I'm not sure. We could double check. It's one of them fabulous hip hoppers, and it's just it's got attitude. It's got swagger. You can walk out on stage this music. Just let it roll, right? Got a little bit of George Clinton's Atomic Dog in the beat underneath. I'm going real deep here, aren't I? I know you're going, wait, what?
I just wish they would have labeled it when they put it in. It said like bumper song 29 or something.
Oh, that's bumper
Get something like
number 5. Too good. Well, we will get to my buddy Lauren Quick, the car coach, here in just a minute. She's in town, which is kind of cool. Lauren is a race car driver. She gets to review cars, and she has a really cool life that I sometimes get jealous of. And then I realize she has to deal with TSA on so many days out of the year. But I thought we also should spend a minute or two reminding everybody of the question we should ask every day.
What in God's name is Joe Biden trying to say?
Yes. What is Joe Biden trying to say? It's a tough week for Joe. Joe had a meeting at the White House with some of the governors.
he's had about 52 of those so far.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Wow, you realize you're quoting Mitt Romney?
No, I actually didn't. You mean somebody came up with that before me?
Yeah, well, Romney was asked, it's been a tough couple of weeks for Joe Biden. He said it's been 52 tough weeks.
He took my line. That's all right.
I said, great minds running the same route. Just understand that. But Joe Biden was speechifying to the governor And he was mumbling and bumbling and stumbling.
You know, I had a chance to hear from several leaders of my administration this morning, including former governors. And Governor Hawaii, he talked about the 10,000.
I'm gonna be back in a minute.
I'm not sure where you're sitting.
All righty.
Anyway, there you go. Sorry. And I know you spoke today with the CDC. You had not the CDC, but you had the head of my COVID team in here.
A lot of confidence in that kind of presentation. It makes you feel comfortable. That guy's got his hand on the button. Really. And then when I was watching Joe launch the cancer moonshot again, that happened on Wednesday, this question came into my head again. You know the question.
What in God's name is Joe Biden trying to say?
Yeah, Joe was announcing, and they're throwing spaghetti at the wall everywhere.
92.5 Fox News, first name in town.
That is going to elevate his flag.
Hey, Ron Estero, getting better every day. I'm hoping to actually work around the house this weekend. What you want to talk about?
I know that somebody had a battle with cancer. Some didn't win it, some lost, and we made progress. But to say that we're going to now launch the cancer moonshot that you were supposed to launch when you were the vice president seems to be just a distraction. But it's even more distracting when you try and explain it.
You know, when I put together the cancer,
Okay, hold on a second. We'll try to get you.
when I found out I had mass,
Yeah.
and a lot of other agencies looked at me like, "What's the matter with you?" I said, "Guess what? NASA knows more about radiation than all of you."
Oh, dear God.
I hate when he does that whisper thing. Oh, I hate that.
It's creepy.
It's condescending as hell.
And he thinks it's effective or he wouldn't keep doing it. So I may have a couple more clips before we get out of here, but I see our friend Lauren Fix, the car coach, is hanging out. As I said, Lauren's in town. She's here in Naples. She's usually a Buffalo girl. And it's a great weekend not to be in Buffalo. So Lauren Fix, you're in town. I'm glad you're here with us. We got to talk some cars. What are you up to?
It's called Ferraris on Fifth and Fifth Street or Fifth Avenue in Naples, Florida, it's just outside of Old Naples. They have all these Ferraris. It started out as a small event, but then it got out of control. Now they've got an auction, and you can only get in if you pay for access. You get wristbands. I mean, so we're doing the whole 9 yards because we like to report on these things on social media. So I'll be posting pictures on Instagram and on my Facebook account. I'll put it up on Getter and all the rest of them. But the fact is, this is really a cool event. My father used to have a Ferrari and he sold it out of Sarasota, and it will be here. So I'm going to go track down that car because I think it'd be kind of neat to see. My dad's an old boxer, but as car people, our whole family have been our whole lives. It's great to come down here and talk to car people. The one thing about car people, it doesn't make a difference what you do for them. You can work at the mall.
Okay, I think there might have been a few more people that have come in. There's a few watching on YouTube. I just wanted to bring everybody up to speed on what's going on. This is 92.5 Fox News Radio here in Fort Myers, Florida. And we actually have a fill-in host today named Mike Opelka. He's filling in here on the drive with Trey Radel. And I produce this show 5 days a week. So we're on 3 hours a day. We are on, well, let's just say, I can't really get into our ratings, but let's just say really, really good ratings here. And we enjoy a huge audience on this station. And so it's a lot of fun producing these shows because there's just so many people involved in everything. Tonight's kind of a weird case. My call screener went home early, and my host is actually remoting in from another state where it's about 20 degrees below zero right now. And so I'm the only one here. And so this is giving me an opportunity to try something a little different tonight. Since I normally get out a little early so I can drive home real quick and jump on the camera right at 8 o'clock. Well, there's no way for me to do that tonight. And so talked to Joseph, and we decided we were going to do something a little bit different tonight. And so what we're doing tonight is I'm actually live here at the station, giving you a little taste of what it's like here at the station producing a radio show. And we're actually, like I said, we're live on the air right now. And we're going to be here live for about another, we're out at 57. It's 41 right now. So, you know, we've got about another 12, 15 or so minutes, 16 minutes, and then we'll be out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try, if you guys hang with us, I'm going to try to take my phone and I'm going to try to do a complete tour of the TV and radio stations here at the broadcast center. So that ought to be really cool. So hang in there with us and we'll see if we can do that. If not, Joseph is in and we're going to just start the TechNet and I'll get back in as soon as I can and we'll keep going from there. Later tonight, we're going to talk about starting a new radio net that's actually going to start next week, but I don't even have all the facts hammered out yet because we're going to work them out tonight on the air. This ought to be pretty cool. We're actually going to create a radio net tonight on the air and start it next week. So it's going to be kind of cool. And that's for the Southwest Florida WatchNet. So that's coming up tonight. We're also going to get everybody's report on how Winter Field Day went and what they learned and what they got to set up and what they got to do and how many contacts they made. And then we'll take open lines after that. So don't go anywhere tonight. It's going to be an interesting night. We're trying to flex our technology muscle a little bit here tonight. So we'll see how this goes. This may be a total crap out when I try to take the phone and walk around the building, but we're going to try it. I'm going to give it an earnest try here. So anyway, this is a canned interview that we're listening to that he actually recorded before the show today. And so he's playing that now, and then he'll be back live with us for a few minutes. We got one more 2-minute break to fire. And then after that, we're out automatically in the 57, just a couple minutes before the top of the hour. So hang in there with us, and we're going to be finishing up this show here and then taking a tour of the TV station here.
Here we go. You got a 4-lane road and there's a center turn lane and then you get your sidewalk. No big deal, right? Sometimes there's bike lanes depending upon where you live. They want to take a 4-lane road and reduce it down to a 2-lane road with a very wide turn lane in the middle and then 2 bike lanes before you reach the sidewalk. And what does that mean? That means your 4-lane road goes to a 2-lane road, you get aggravated. That's the big problem.
This creates more traffic. This doesn't.
It's funny because I have a big problem with this too. It's like we've got horrible traffic problems, and they'll literally take a traffic lane away and make it a bike lane. And I'm like, you already had a bike path. Now we have a bike lane, and it's like we need to get the traffic through. When you got 1 million cars trying to get through and 7 bicyclists, you just don't. Like Spock said in Star Trek, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Nothing against bicyclists, but we need to look at who's using what and how many of each are using it and who pays the gas taxes on it. There's another good point.
So next time they don't vote for you. That's how I see it. I see it a little differently. They say, oh, it's to slow people down. It's going to be safer. What happens is people get aggravated and they pass in the center lane or they pass across the bike path, which could be dangerous. And there's tickets for that if you get caught. But I think this is what it really is. I believe that if you want to get rid of someone in a conservative town that always votes red, how do you get rid of them? Well, you can put up another person to run up against them, but they're typically going to vote for their incumbent. How do you stop that? Well, you aggravate the people that live in that town every single day. You take that 4-lane road and make it a 2-lane road. And now every day I go, oh, I hate this road. Why did they do this? And you blame the town people that run the councilmen and whoever's in charge there. You blame them every day. You get frustrated every day. And what happens when it's time to vote? The other person, who's most likely a Democrat, will say, well, you know, if you had voted for me, then we wouldn't have done this. True or not? And so people vote for that person. And that's how you get rid of conservative or Republican leaders in very small towns all across the country. You aggravate the constituents.
I think you're wrong on this, Lauren. I think that's a possible side effect. But I think at the core of this is to force everyone out of their car. I don't care if they're electric cars.
That's a good point.
And I go back
crime through the roof, like multiple hundreds of percent higher in New York, Chicago, LA, and all the
Yes.
big cities that have mass transit. So why would I want to live in a city? And actually, I have a place in New York that I'm selling, and I've had it for sale for over a year, and people don't want to buy in the city. We're all in the suburbs, everybody's selling homes for way over their asking, but in the city, you can't even get an offer.
You have
That
to,
tells you why.
Lauren, you have to think about, this is the long arc. This is, you got to think like China thinks. And the idea is to get the great mission. This crime wave is temporary, and they will, I'm speaking with the liberal mind. The crime wave is temporary, it's transitory. We will fix it once we get rid of all the guns. Just give us all the guns and the crime will magically go away, and you'll see. That's kind of where they're thinking. So
I hear you're talking, giving up your rights is a foolish move, and that means the ability to have your Second Amendment rights, your First Amendment rights, which you and I are using right now, right here. And that includes every single person that's listening to you and that follows you. And it really aggravates me, because when you're talking about surveillance, are these cameras really there for speed to make the road safer? No. It's an excuse to monitor you. Because now if I've got cameras everywhere, I know exactly what you're doing.
Oh, that van's ruined.
Then I can track you even farther. And if I want to shut
I
down
am
the
live
shut
on
down
the
your
air
car,
right now
I
on my
can
show,
track you
so
from
that's why I
God.
can't
That's
answer you.
exactly what happens. And you know what happens once you give up those rights, you never get them back.
Yeah, get it back to the house before all the gas runs out. How much gas did you put in it?
Fill like 2 hours of the show.
Oh,
with
I
that.
have.
Well,
But-
we just lost $40 worth of gas too. It's gonna be in the yard.
One of the things I talk about is I have a solution that will actually save the roadways, that will make it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna do my show from here. I'll call you in a couple hours.
Oh, is it, don't vote for Democrats?
Whatever, I'll call you later.
Well,
Bye.
that's part of it. It's part of retesting. I'm a big fan of retesting. We all learned how to drive at 16 or 17 or 18 years old. And that's it.
And that's my wife, who was on the way here to get me, who just informed me that she hit a big piece of metal in the road, and now my van is leaking gasoline all over the highway. So she's now returning home, trying to get it home before it runs out of gas. She just filled it up, $46 worth of gas, and it's leaking all out now.
That's on the highway.
And I have no ride home, so this is gonna be fun. So I'll be doing the show from here tonight.
A great solution, and I'm a big fan of saying, if you're gonna complain about something, you better have a solution. Lauren is seeing the problems on the horizon here with what this transportation secretary, Mayor Pete, wants to do. And yeah, pothole, well, I've got a different whole name for him, but that's for the off-air podcast. But yeah, so Lauren's offering solutions, and you need to go to the Car Coach Reports channel on YouTube, and you can see Lauren's 4-Minute Friday that breaks out the problems and the solutions. You're not allowed to bitch about something unless you at least offer a solution. That's rule 1 in Mike's rule of complaining. So
I agree.
I'm glad you've done that, Lauren. But listen, everybody, follow Lauren Fix. She is the car coach. She's on Twitter. She's on Instagram, and the YouTube channel just crushes it every single week. Lauren, try and resist the temptation to buy a Ferrari or a house until I get down there, because I know you're going to raise the prices. We're trying to make our way down to Naples as well. But until next time, let's stay in touch, and then send me a picture of you with your dad's Ferrari. I hope you will do that.
I will do that, and then you can share it on social media.
I will. I know you're going to put it up too.
Of course.
Thanks, Lauren. And
Thank you.
And there she goes. Lauren Fix, the car coach, with great stuff. She's right there in Naples at the Ferrari event, where we all need to be hanging out.
Are you gonna make it home? How bad's it leaking?
Ask everybody where Lauren Fix is. You might stumble into it. She'd like to meet. All right, I've only got 1 block left, and I have to get to this story on the State Department.
Just get it home. Don't drive too fast and shut it off as soon as you can.
From
Get something under it and try to catch as much fuel as you can.
The guy who covers the State Department and the Department of Defense. I'll share it with you just around the corner.
Okay.
And
all right, I gotta go.
I think there might be a phone.
All right, bye.
Up here, a line or two. So we'll try and get another call in before we get out of here. It's Michael Pelka. Before Levin, the great one, is on deck, and I'm in tonight for Trey on the drive on 92.5 Fox News.
You're clear.
Right, all along.
Being involved in a legal dispute.
What a life Lauren has. She just travels the country and gets to drive new cars.
Understanding the law and the rules of evidence can mean
Must be great.
for losing your kids.
They used to fly her to like Dubai or Lake Como when they would have a European car to, debut.
That's 1-800-747-3733 for a free consultation.
Yeah, my wife was on the way here and she hit a piece of metal in the road and it ripped my gas tank out open underneath my van, and I'm losing an entire tank of fuel now as she's trying to drive it home.
Oh, dear God. That's not safe.
Yeah, well, I can't afford a wrecker. That's not safe either.
We talk boats, fishing.
She's only about maybe a mile from the house. So I told her just ease it back to the house and shut it down.
Park it on the street. You don't want that gasoline on your property.
239.
Yeah, I'll deal with that. I got, she's got a way to capture it. I'm gonna try to get some of it.
Have you ever had pain?
I'm hoping it's not too bad, but I got an alternate ride coming to get me now.
That comes out of your back that runs down into your leg called the sciatic nerve. This nerve can get compressed by a bulging herniated disc.
And I'm live right now on Zoom. I've got my my Zoom meeting starting right now that I do. Normally I leave 30 minutes early on Fridays to do that, and I can't today. So I'm literally live on Zoom right now. So as soon as this ends, I can just literally turn my chair and start talking to them.
I'm sorry. I kept you from soup.
Well, that's nothing to do with you.
Spinal care, 596 back.
Nothing to do with you, dude. This is what we do here. It's all right. I don't mind.
To heal.
It is what it is. They're getting a firsthand view of how a radio station works, because I've told them that not only are they watching me produce the show right now, but as soon as it's over, I'm gonna give them a tour of the TV station. So it's not all bad.
Oh, that's cool. I may grab Ron and Estero real quick. I'll have a couple of minutes, right?
Yeah, I'll tell him to be quick. He's coming to you after the break, but you gotta be quick, okay? Okay, hold on. All right, I told him he's gonna have to be quick.
What time am I out? 57:16, 57:30?
Yeah, 48's your absolute out.
All right.
57:48.
Mark Levin next at 8. Keep it right here. 92.5 Fox News. Right, all along.
You're live.
Gig here. Trey will be back Monday, and I'll be in Monday morning for Drew, so join me then. I gotta squeeze in one more call. Ron's in Estero. Ron, you had a good comment you wanted to make, sir, so you got the floor.
Thank you very much. Real quick, I heard Mike Pence today basically throwing Donald Trump under the bus, saying he had no right to say that Mike Pence could overturn the election, blah, 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 blah. I think that basically opened the door on the bus for Mike Pence to walk out of, and then we'll put Governor Ron in the front seat, co-pilot with Donald Trump. I think that's what's going to happen, because what Pence did today was basically say, Donald Trump's wrong about everything. I don't know if you heard the clip or not, but it was.
I did. They're playing the hell out of it on CNN, and I think you're not wrong. And we'll have to see what happens. The committees are going to try and make hay out of this. But thank you. Great observation.
You're going to be on Monday with Drew, right? Check
in for Drew.
Okay. Check your Facebook inbox. There's a story that's out there about Pelosi and her people and what they're trying to add the acronym LGBTQ.
Okay, I will. I'll check it. I got to rock and roll, so I got to get this story in. But thank you. I'll look there shortly. Thank you. My Facebook account is wide open. Everybody can jump in. I want to get this this moment when the State Department spokesperson, I call Ned Flanders, his name is Ned something else, I think it's Price, was called out by AP reporter Matt Lee over the Bravo Sierra. He was spreading about Russia and a false flag operation. You got to hear this back and forth.
We told you a few weeks ago that we have information indicating Russia also has already prepositioned a group of operatives to conduct a false flag operation in eastern Ukraine.
This is like Alex Jones territory you're getting into now. What evidence do you have to support the idea that there is some propaganda film in the making?
Now, this is derived from information known to the US government, intelligence information that we have declassified.
Where is it? Where's the declassified information?
I just delivered it.
No, you made a series of allegations.
What would you like now?
It's because he said so.
I would like to see some proof that you can show that
Matt, you have been.
that shows that the Washington's doing it.
We do so.
All right, and for those of you who are just joining us, we are finishing up the live show here in the next couple of minutes. We're going to be doing a tour of the building, so don't go anywhere.
Some happening at the Associated Press. I remember you telling us that Kabul was not going to fall. So why the hell should we believe you when you tell us that Russia is planning a false flag operation? This guy has a set on him, doesn't he? He looked the State Department spokesperson in the eye and said, "Buddy."
I'm going to turn the cuss button off now. What this basically does is it's going to ramp me out of the 10-second delay. So that's on now. So now the computer in the board is actually backing the audio out, and we're going to give up those 10 seconds that we had spooled up at the beginning of the show. That's why if you're listening on the air, you're actually going to hear us about 16 seconds delayed. And most of that is because of the swearing delay and then also the digital delay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here we
for
go.
hanging with me.
Here's the
Ian.
music playing.
Ian, appreciate you. Everybody who participated today, talk and text. Let's
That's
do
the
it
bump
again
out
on
music
Monday.
playing.
And Trey will be here Monday evening. Michael Pelka reminding you, testudo, my friends.
Testudo.
Testudo.
You're clear.
Thank you, brother. Good times.
All right, man. Have fun with Jake on Monday, and we'll see you next time, man. Have a good one.
Yes, sir.
I almost told him 7 threes. I've done that before. Okay.
So what do they say when you say 73?
They just give me a funny look, or they go, "What did you say? What?" Let's see here. Let me go ahead and I got to get out of this stuff here.
I have seen firsthand the importance of working with and trusting.
All right, just give me a second here to shut down all my workstations and everything, and then I'm gonna see if I can walk around with you guys a little bit. We're gonna see if it works. All right. Now, this plays through till the end of the hour, and then there's a macro there that will switch it to the news feed, and then it'll switch it from
Get it too. I'm gonna find out how to do it.
to whatever the.
What's that game that I downloaded? I'm gonna see what I do that.
Somebody's audio volume is really loud.
Sorry.
I'm gonna go ahead and sign out of this. Make sure that we're timed out. Everything ends exactly at 8 o'clock. So I'm gonna log out of that.
Value for your trade-in during Naples Nissan's Let's Roll America sales event. Hey, Southwest Florida, Aaron Walker here. Come roll with us at Naples Nissan and get $5,000 over to KBB.com value for your trade-in, whether it runs or not. Push forward.
Okay. I'm gonna grab all my stuff so that way we can go. We are still masking here because of the higher risk being a newsroom.
Such sound effects.
What's going on here this here TechNet?
All right. Let me see if I forget how to change the screen around.
Push the button.
There it is. Oh.
That's right. No, you're just telling to push the button.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There we go. All right. So notice we just switched over to the top of the hour, and the board basically when the top of the hour happens, the board computer in the back room, which I'm gonna try to show you here in just a minute. The computer in the back room shuts the board off. So now I can literally turn everything off. That board will not come back on again until 6:02 a.m. Monday morning, when the computer will turn the feed from that board back on again and connect it to the tower. This is the actual talk studio where Drew Steele works in the morning. and where Trey Radel works in the afternoon.
Oh yeah, I recognize
But when
those
we
windows.
are doing, yeah, well, yeah, that's the other room here. And when I turn these, because we actually use the host's computer to connect. Notice there's the actual TriCast connection that I had to Mike right there. It's all right there. So I'm going to go ahead and sign out of this. We're all done with that. And that's where the host sits.
Myers, is he?
Huh?
Mike is not in Fort Myers. He's somewhere else.
No. He's up north, out in the Midwest somewhere.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So anyway, but this is the main talk studio. You know, when you hear news reports and the person's talking over the news report, that's where that happens. This is the TV voiceover room. And then this is the TV production room where they do all the promos. This is where they make all the promos, like coming up tonight at 6 on Wink News and that kind of stuff. All that stuff's voiced and made in that room. And of course, they're all gone for the day. I think I'm the last one back here in the radio center. All right, let's see if this works. It's 99.
Literally, as soon as he says, "Let's see if it works," just freezes up.
Crash and burn, crash and burn.
Oh no!
Can you not hear me anymore?
It's very choppy.
Yeah, maybe you need to get to the next Wi-Fi, whatever you're doing in there.
Oh boy, man, it's completely frozen on our end.
Yeah, we hear your voice, but the video is frozen or is choppy. Now just change scenes.
Oh,
now we see a hallway.
Came on. I kind of figured he goes to the next router. K04EF S. Oh, here we go.
Oh, kind of back.
This is sports studio for Fox News Sports, Fox Sports Radio. And it's just a small studio because we don't actually do any live shows in there. And then this one here, can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you right now.
Okay, this one here is Arrow 94.5, and it's a completely automated station. So nobody actually even works in this room. It just sits. But if you listen to the Arrow 94.5, this is where it comes out of. And then there's still somebody working over here, but that's the and then over here that's all.
Man.
So crazy. All right, and all right, and then we go around the corner here, come out of the broadcast center there, and this is the these are all production rooms.
I see your hand, it freezes.
Yeah, you either have the world's worst.
Now I'm hoping this works.
You have video issues. You need a faster internet.
He knew this might be an issue before he did it. He's just walking through a building. There's no cell signal in there. He's using the Wi-Fi. So we knew this might be a problem, but
Wi-Fi routers.
is that the server room?
Wow.
Yeah, this room runs all 8 radio stations at one time. Everything you see in here. These are the actual computers that you listen to the music off of, or that you hear the commercials on. They actually play off of these Dell servers right here. And you can use this. You can press which server you want this laptop connected to, so that it's a lot easier. You can also IP into them as well. And of course, you can see all the network stuff up there.
Oh yeah.
All the sound processors, all the mics come into here through these sound processors. This is where all the sound is processed in and out of the system. And again, more sound processing. And then down here, these are all satellite receivers. These satellite receivers are how we receive Fox News Radio, Fox Sports Radio, Premier Radio networks. With all of the different networks come in on these. these connect us to different studios. Like if we're going to be connecting to Fox News New York, we can use these to make manual connections to them through phone lines as well. These are all network connections up there. You can see it's quite the room in here. Let me go and show you guys. I don't know how much of this you're able to see, but there's the back of the room.
Yeah.
Very, very clean. They did a very good job. This is the power supply system for our generator, our bypass, and our battery supply. Everything in here has a large battery backup that's in a different room. And then it also has a 500 kW generator that runs the entire building once the power goes out. So the batteries just basically hold us until the generators come on.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, and then of course we got there's the lobby. We're not going to be checking any of that out. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to walk through back here and see if it will. See if I can show you guys some. This part of the
under
building is kind of
construction?
under construction right now. Yes, it is. We've got a lot of construction going on still in the building. This is the
Man, it's always a perfect timing too.
TV station.
T. I don't know what the T is.
Yeah. Yeah, and then this is master control back in the back here, where they have all of the different TV stations come into here, and each of these consoles here is for a different TV station, and these guys make sure that what you're watching on TV is supposed to be playing on there. In the back there, those are the returns coming back from all the different cable feeds back there. And here is all the different, look at that up there. That's all shows us that everything we're sending out is actually, in fact, going out over the channels like it's supposed to. We can actually see that Comcast, DirecTV, and all the different ones are all sending out our live signals like they're supposed to. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
This wall over here, that's all the different video feeds. All these feeds come in from the networks or wherever all of our video feeds come in from. And then again, the equipment room, this is the equipment room for TV.
Damn.
It's quite the rack room back here. These are we call these rack rooms, obviously R-A-C-K rack rooms, because it's, as you can see, it's pretty much nothing but just racks and racks and racks of electronics. Look at this.
Wow.
I don't think
See those holes right there? That used to be radio. All the radio came out of there, and they're slowly replacing the spaces with TV stuff because all our radio stuff got moved over to that other one I just showed you. And then back here, this is pretty cool. This is TV where the TV production is actually done. This is where it happened. This is where your producer sits, whoever the executive producer is for the episode, for that particular 30-minute episode, would sit right here. And from here, they can direct the activity and they can speak to everybody in the field. They can speak to everybody in the back, in the front, on top, and all the camera operators and everybody. And this is the person that sits here that would coordinate the entire broadcast. Up here, you got your lower third person and you got your person. Hey, how's it going? I didn't know everybody was in here. We're doing a little virtual tour since nobody's allowed in the building anymore. And this is where they switch all the cameras. When we go live to here, live to there, they'll switch the cameras. And then they also, like I said, they do full screen graphics. They do lower third graphics. And all that stuff is all done in this room here. And then the sound is actually done in a different room, believe it or not. The sound actually, the sound operator, he's back here. He actually has his own, board back here. And that's the soundboard for TV.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot of buttons.
Cool?
That's a lot of buttons.
Yep. So now that goes back towards the TV studio, but we're going to actually go around the other way. We don't use that way very often. All right, hold on. We're going to run through here. We're actually doing some construction in here. And where we just walked through, that room is actually kind of a big break room right now so that we can socially separate while we're breaking. Well, I got to tell you guys, you know, I know sometimes it's getting overdone, but I also got to tell you guys that when you work in an environment like this, these people go out every day to the most hottest places where this stuff happens, you know, and these people are out there every day. This is the newsroom. And
Wow.
that's the box there where the yellow is. That's the assignment desk in the far back over there. And you can see the all where the report to produce. This is kind of cool. You ever see them live from the newsroom? Well, look at this. We actually have two spots where they stand right here, and they can be live from the newsroom in two different positions. That's what that's for. It's a new office they're building for Brad. And then let's take a little tour back here. Hopefully this will work back here. This is the Wink TV television studio. It looks like I'm the only one back here. Let's have some fun. The studio is set up to give you the maximum number of places that people can stand. And so you can have one there and one here and one here. And every time they go to a new person, it looks like a different set. You can see where they stand right there. That's where the news people are, obviously. Your anchors would be right here. These blocks or chips, as they call them, because if you notice that they're always the same height. If you have two anchors, they will always be the same height because they use these little boxes to make sure that their height looks the same on TV. They do this a lot in movies and TV as well, so that actors don't look superior or inferior to other actors because of their height. And there's the big screen wall that consists of 9 55-inch televisions. And here's a big, huge television right there. This is the weather center where Matt Devitt and his weather team works. What a great bunch of guys. I love working with them. But this is the entire Wink weather center back here. When you see them doing their hurricane thing or whatever, this is where all that happens. The work is actually done on the set. Unlike the work everywhere else in here, traffic and everywhere else is done outside. But the weather people actually work in their set. This is actually their desks where they work. So it's a little bit different for them. And then Matt Devitt sits here, and this will be the other weather person that's on duty. And you can see there the different tools they use. And this is where they actually make the stuff up. And they can actually turn around and do the shot right from there if they need to. And I don't know if my family's watching the stream, but I know you're trying to call me, but I'm in a live stream. I'll be exiting the building in about 10 minutes. All right, this is the green screen area. You can see here, there's lighting above, lighting to the left, lighting to the right, and there's these side screens. This is where they stand. And the green screen, you can see it up there. The green screen comes down in front of these doors, and this is where they would stand. And then the weather person would look to the left. When he's pointing at the map, he's actually looking at that TV screen to make sure that he's pointing at the right spot, because he can't actually see the map because it's on the green screen. But that TV shows him what he looks like actually on TV. So now when he's pointing, he's actually looking at that TV at himself so that he can make sure that he's pointing at the right thing. These also have the built-in teleprompters. The teleprompter person sits right here. The lighting person sits right there. The teleprompter person actually moves that up as they go to advance the words to the part of the script that they're on. And they have the screens there so that they can watch what's next. The teleprompter screens are actually built into the cameras. They're right here. And you can see the big lens there. Light tells them they're on the air. And then the words actually reflect off of this screen down here on this piece of glass right here. And they read the words. The words actually come up here in mirror image so that when they reflect up here on this, they are clear.
Is that a camera lens behind that? Is there, where's the lens?
This is actually, look, this is the camera.
Oh.
So the camera is actually looking through a piece of glass that's on a 45-degree angle. I'm trying to get a shot of it so you can see
And it doesn't see the teleprompter reflection. That's interesting.
Yeah, because this is reflecting on the outside of the glass, so you can't see it. But they see, when they look at the camera, they're actually looking directly at the words that they're reading. That's how they can stare you in the eye while they're reading all that crap. That's how they do it. Yeah, just like that. That's actually the screen right there. The screen reflects off of that and they read it. And they've got each of these each camera is equipped with the same piece of equipment. I'll tell you, Wink TV, man, they have got it going on here. I know the other stations are good too, but man, they have got it going on here with the technology. I mean, there's no fooling around
I
anymore.
don't think any of the big Atlanta stations have got anything on these guys. Unbelievable.
I don't think so either, to be honest with you. I really don't. I mean, they've really stepped up here. This is the traffic center, by the way. I mean, look at this. This is the traffic center. A little behind the scenes. But yeah, this is the traffic center. You can see all the cameras. There's 4 of those big cameras.
Freaking major TV station.
And the lights in here do colors. They do everything. Notice no big lights. They're all LED panels now. They used to have 4 big air conditioners in here. They only have to run 1 or 2 of them now because all the lights are these panels now. They're no longer those big Klieg lights like they used to have.
Oh yeah, incandescent lights will burn you up, particularly in the summertime.
Yep, and they had even gone to a lot of fluorescent type lights, but even they are hot. That window up there is actually our executive meeting room up there. I've been to a bunch of meetings in there, and they've got it covered with 3M paper. So apparently they're working on that room up there right now. But you can actually stand up there and watch the news being produced down there. It's pretty cool. Well, I'm really glad that this internet came back on and is held. So that
yeah,
you guys
it's doing
can
pretty
see
good.
Pretty neat.
This has been really cool, Ian.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm kind of winging it. For those of you who don't know what's going on, we had a last-minute switch out with a host tonight. So I was unable to get out early and go home. So I'm admitting to you guys, I'm actually doing this kind of as a stopgap. I was planning on doing this in a few weeks. I actually had been planning on doing this, but I went ahead and decided to do it today because I'm stuck here right now. My wife was had to borrow the vehicle. My wife and I don't need 2 vehicles, so we don't have 2 vehicles. She was using the van. She's on the way here to pick me up, and some big piece of metal fell off a truck, and she ran over it, and it ripped a hole in my gas tank. So,
oh my gosh.
Did she get home safely? That's the big thing.
Yes, she did make it home safely. There you can kind of see how it goes. There's the schedule for the newscast that just played a little while ago. And you can see how it's kind of laid out there. I don't want to get too specific, but it's everything's laid out in a program called ENPS. And it's all, the scripts are all written in there, and then everything is in the scripts. There you go.
Unbelievable. I didn't know.
All right. I'm trying to think what else. There really is not a whole lot else to show you, except I would like to see if it'll hold on just long enough to go right outside the door, because I want to show you a few things outside on the tower. But this is pretty much what we got here. I have someone that's come to pick me up, and I think they're here. So I'm going to be able to just ride home with them, and we'll be able to just keep right on going where we're at, and I can explain to you guys where we're what we're going to be doing tonight for the net. Does anybody have any questions, or if there's anything specific you'd like to see while I'm in the TV studio here?
Actually, how many TV stations are there in there? I know there's 2, but there may be more.
Well, it's kind of a tough question. We have 2 Spanish TV channels here, and we have Wink, and we also have CW6, and we also have a digital news channel. Depending on how you want to add it up, anywhere between 3 and 5.
Wow.
So Ian, this is the facilities on Palm Beach, right?
Yeah. Yep. This is the one right there, right next to Billy Bowlegs Creek on Palm Beach Boulevard. Right before you get into downtown.
I'm surprised at how much there is there. That's unbelievable.
Well, and you know, I wish I could take you upstairs and show you around, because this building is a legacy building. It's been here since well, about 100 years now. And the first part of this building was 1240 Wink AM, which is technically still the radio station that I work for. I'm gonna give you guys a little peek here that I should have mentioned this earlier, but everybody was in there earlier. You still
Oh, signal's starting to fade. No. It'll come back.
Brain freeze.
We need 50 kilowatt Wi-Fi.
Yeah, really. Or at least a couple watts.
Yeah.
Routers all run at like nothing. They run at a couple milliwatts.
So dumb.
You could put an amplifier, a linear amplifier, on the antenna port.
Probably the better thing is to do just to put your antenna on.
Yeah.
It makes more sense just to have more routers, mesh them all together, or days you can call to the internet to a Cat 5.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the code?
Quick, get the code.
If you want to sign me in and out, if you want to come here and sign me in and out, you can. I'll give you the code. All right. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's our tower. Now, it's important to note that there's no actual broadcasting being done on this tower. This is simply a tower that we use to connect to everything. What we call the STL, or the Station Satellite Transmitter Link. Basically, there used to be a big ball up there with the CBSI on it, but we took that down because we weren't using it anymore, because, as we all know now, next-red radar works better when it's outside of town. But basically, what's happened with this tower is that ball that was on top was creating a situation where on windy days, the microwave links with some of our south towers would begin to break up. And we found out it was because that big ball on top was causing movement of this tower.
Wind load, yeah.
And it's kind of hard to see, but up on the left up there, there's that white thing sticking off. That's actually the receiver that receives our signals back from our towers. Below it there is a dish that's actually communicating with the Wink FM and Wink TV towers. And then further up, there's 3 more dishes that are shooting up to that tower up there. Those are the ones actually sending the high-def TV signals out to the tower so that they can be sent out to you guys over the big transmitter. On the other side, there's 3 or 4 more dishes in different directions. Those are the STL dishes shooting off towards all of our other tower sites, specifically South Cape Coral, the one that my station transmits off of, which is in Estero. And there's a bunch of them. Let's get a little better view here. There you go. And about halfway up on the right, you see that white thing? Right above that is the scanner antenna for our scanner system here. We actually have a very professional scanner system here. I wish I had access to it. It picks up all the scanner.
So if you talk to your engineer and give you a spot for your repeater.
He muted himself. Oh no.
But there you go. There's the tower up there.
That's
I love
very
how
cool.
On my
How
phone
tall
while
is
I'm
that tower?
like, guys, I'm on the phone. Anyway, there's that's the seed room. We call that the seed room, or the communications equipment bunker, CEB. And Then, of course, Billy Bowlegs Creek runs all the way around the back of our parking lot here. And during storms, I'm about waist deep where the water would be in this back parking lot. We actually have an agreement with the people across the street that during storms, the people that have to be here can park their cars on the second floor of the parking garage across the street, because this parking lot will be underwater completely. This parking lot up here is a little bit higher, and it only goes underwater if it's pretty bad. But that's looking up towards the river there. You can see the big buildings.
Hey, it's Oasis Towers.
Yep. Yeah, that's the 2 Oasis Towers right there.
I wanted to put a repeater up there.
Alta Vista or whatever across the street, and then the Beau Rivage to the left. All right, I have a ride here. My mom came to pick me up since my vehicle's at home with the gas all leaking out of it. So let's go ahead and head home. All right.
This is pretty cool. Like a
Here we go.
first person tour here.
All right. Let me switch a couple things around here. Just give me a second. Okay. All right, here we go. Hey, we're actually live on my YouTube channel, so I'm just letting you know. But it's on me, so it's not on you. It's my mom. She's camera shy. I don't blame her. I'm the same way, except I also like cameras too, which kind of leaves me into a weird situation. All right, anyway, so there we go. All right, so does anybody have any questions I can answer real quick about the station tour, or anything about the stations or anything like that before we move on?
Yeah.
My only question is, have you talked to the station engineer about putting a repeater on that tower?
Yeah, I'd love to, but that's probably not going to happen. There's several reasons for it. Number one being that the tower is just about maxed out on what we can put on it. Like I said, we had to literally take some things off of it in order to keep the movement down.
Okay.
In this lane, you're okay, yeah. So that's the biggest reason. The second reason is broadcasting is very proprietary, and sometimes it's difficult to get freebies out of broadcasting. It's pretty proprietary, but I understand that it's a very competitive business, and it's a lot of money being spent there. So, but I'll also tell you guys, there's 10 buildings along the river here, and every one of them's just begging for a tower on top of it, or a stick on top of it. So there's definitely something we can do with that. All right. Was there another question?
I was gonna say, how would you ever be able to get access to that scanner system?
I'd love to, but no, I don't think so. They're fairly protective of it because of bandwidth. I understand that. I mean, I get that, and it's something that it's a need to know thing. You know, when you have a business like that, I mean, they allow me to do tours like I just did. I didn't break any rules or anything. We're allowed to do that. We're not allowed to give physical tours because of COVID, but we are still allowed to give virtual tours. Yeah, I don't know. There's just certain things in broadcasting that are very different than other places. You know, yeah, the lights are out on the bridge. You guys believe that? Look at that. The lights are out up here on the.
Okay.
They've been out for about a week now. I think a car hit. Or you know what? It probably has to do with the fact that they're redoing the traffic lights back at that back intersection there, because. As you guys may or may not know this, let me see, does that bother you too bad? You guys may or may not know this, but they are changing around downtown. They are completely changing around downtown, and there's going to be no more one-way streets like there is now. Second and First Street are both going to be two-way streets again. Power will still be one way and then the other way, but Second and First Street are no longer going to be one way in just a few weeks, maybe a month. It's coming up pretty quick. So they're actually redoing all of the traffic lights in that whole area to accommodate two-way traffic versus one-way traffic. So they've even got like temporary traffic lights and all that up there. So we can't wait, because I cannot wait to get to where I can just go over the bridge and make a left to go down to my work. Right now, I got to drive all the way around 2nd Street, Seaboard, and come all the way back around, and it's a real pain in the butt.
You're talking about the Edison Bridge, not the Caloosahatchee Bridge.
Yeah, I'm actually on the Edison. You're right. Yeah. Wow. Bunch of crotch rockets doing 100 plus. There you go. What are you going to do, right? But anyway, so tonight what we're going to do is, as you guys know, we've got the Southwest Florida WatchNet. And in order, I think it's important to my wife, if you're watching this, yes, I'm getting your texts. Yes, I'm in the car with my mom right now, and we're on the way home.
He's not watching.
They keep texting me and texting me and texting me something that's going on 20 minutes ago. So anyway, tonight what we're going to be discussing is a radio net. I think we need to do a weekly radio net along with the Southwest Florida WatchNet in order to make sure that we're all good every week and we can, talk to the repeater and all that kind of stuff. I think it's an important thing. And so tonight what we're going to do is we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about nets. What do we like about nets? What do we dislike about nets? There's always that big controversy of, do you call net control and then PR? Or do we do it like Charlotte County, where we take one check-in at a time? Or we do it like other areas, like they don't say net control, but they just check in. There's a lot to do, and there's demos and all this kind of stuff. We're going to talk about all this. I don't know what you guys think about nets, because most of you have been doing this longer than me. And this is my first, well, actually, it's technically not my first radio net, but we all know how the first one went down. But anyway, this one's going to be on the 444-775 repeater here in North Fort Myers. So it should work out really well for us in this area. I've already got, I think 3 or 4 different people have signed up for this. And so I need to get some more people to sign up. Doesn't cost anything. There's no commitment. All I'm asking for is to let me know that you're interested, and I'll get you on the alert list, and then we'll go from there. That's really all there is to do. All right, we're actually at Weaver's Corner now, which is the corner of Pine Island and Bayshore and Old 41, where all that comes together. Anyway, here they come. There they go. Well, there you go.
Get one of those crotch rockets.
Yeah, catch up with that ambulance. The ambulance, like you said, is probably going to deal with one of those crotch rockets. But but anyway, yeah. So to tell you guys what's going on at my house, you guys know we've been having all the trees removed, and we've got all the trees now removed out of the front and the side. And now the person's been all week working on the ones on the other side of the house. We've actually had two different contractors working. The one is done and the other one's about 3/4 of the way done. And I have strung my wire up at the proper height with nothing obstructing it or impeding it. And I'm getting twice the ability that I had before out of my wire, especially on 12 and 15 are doing much, much better. And so I'm really encouraged by that I'm getting such a better transmit and receive from my wire. I'm also moving my antenna tomorrow. My mast is moving over to another part of the yard. My wire will be moving to the other part of the yard. Once all that's done in a few weeks, I'll actually be able to use 10, 12, and 6 at the same time that I'm using the lower frequencies on a different radio. So I'll actually have the ability to use 2 radios at once, which is really cool. I'm really wanting to be able to monitor one channel on FT8 while I'm using another. And so that's going to give me the ability to do that. Lately, there's been a lot of solar activity recently, and the solar activity that we're getting is creating a rising solar flux. And that is, but it's also created a few geomagnetic storms as well. And so the storms are actually cutting down everything. So it's kind of one of those things where the solar flux comes up, that's great. Then the K index comes up, the solar storms start, and it screws everything back up. So, but anyway, I know we'll be done here in just a minute here. So just give me a second here. We're just about to my house here, and I'll be able to go inside my shed and do what I got to do here. Okay, so but anyway, that higher solar flux and the higher K index, again, the higher solar flux is good, but the higher K index is bad. We actually were in a geomagnetic storm earlier, and there's more storms forecasted over the weekend. So it's one of those things where you literally have to watch every day to see what's going on with it. Today, 12 was wide open all the way into Eastern Europe and Russia. I was able to make contacts way over into the Asian continent, going over the Atlantic side on 12 all through the middle of the day today. It was really good. And that's just with my wire, nothing fancy, no directed beams or anything like that. So, so really good stuff going on there. As far as winter field day, as soon as we get done talking about the, actually what I would like to do is I'm going to take a little break here in just a minute so I can get home and get situated. When I do that, Joseph, if you could take it for a little while, for maybe about 15 or 20 minutes, and maybe you guys can run through and see how everybody did on winter field day. And that will give me a chance here to get home and get everything situated. I'll be back with you guys in about 15 minutes. Will that be okay?
Suits me fine.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn it over to Joseph there, and just you guys can discuss how everything went at winter field day, and I'll give you a little tidbit. I was still getting over the COVID, and I felt like crap all weekend. And when you couple that with the fact that Amazon didn't get my wire to me on time, and I was using a crappy wire, I didn't really do much. I made about 12 or 14 single sideband contacts, and then I called it. I wasn't feeling well, but that was my winter field day, unfortunately. So I'll pass it to you guys. You guys probably had a better one than me. So I'm going to go ahead and mute it out, and I'll be back with you in a few minutes. Thanks, Joseph.
See you in a few.
All right. Well, I didn't do field day like at all. I think I was traveling at the time still. I think we made our last trip to Florida. So I think I was doing that the day of, I was traveling Sunday. So I didn't get to do it at all. I still wanted to do it kind of, but I have a bad noise floor here and I'm kind of in between antennas at the moment. So I'm actually trying out a new kind of antenna. Y'all probably heard of NVIS antennas. I have a friend who lives about 30 miles north of me, and he is in a valley kind of. There's like mountains all around him. So him getting a signal out is difficult on every band. So we were trying to NVIS antenna, so it would send the signal straight up, and then it would come down on top of me, bounce off the ionosphere. So unfortunately, my backyard is too small for the antenna we built. It needs like 45 by 45 feet, and my yard is like 30 by 30 with a fence around it. So God, I was able to, the weird thing was I was able to set up the shorter length of wire. It's about maybe like 5 or 6 feet shorter than the 8. So it's a dual band. It was 40 meter and 80 meter. So I set up the 40 meter wires and I left the 80 meter wires sitting on the ground, and it actually tuned up fine on my radio, and it works like an inverted V. So it wasn't a total waste of time. We were able to kind of communicate a little bit, even though the signal was pretty weak. But that's what I've been doing, is messing with that. Yeah, but how was y'all's field day? Did Dallas or Rick, did any of y'all do winter field day?
Yeah, I was I went over to the FMARC field, winter field day in North Fort Myers, and did mostly CW. There was I think there was about 6 or 7 stations there. We're in a pretty big station setup.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. I worked with Bob Lewis. He had a K3 there, and he had a couple other guys, and I did CW. But there was also a digital station there, several voice stations on various different bands. So it was a pretty big operation. Had a lot of fun. It was cold. I mean, my God, I never thought we would have a field day that was cold, but my God, I felt more like a penguin than a ham radio operator, but still. And it was fun. I didn't stay real late because I couldn't stand the cold. So I came on home and worked some CW from here and had a pretty good time with it. So I enjoyed it.
Well, that's pretty cool. I'm surprised. How
Sure.
cold was it?
Oh, about in the 40s, which for Florida is pretty damn cold. Now that's nothing up there in Huntsville, I know, but it's still, you have all this dampness down here and it gets like that. It's cold.
Wow. 40 sounds nice. It's like 29 here right now.
Yeah, it's 28 here in Loganville.
I've
Well,
had
that's
to,
what-
I've had to climb around out there. I've had to climb around out there.
My
With
time
like,
in Atlanta, I remember it being -8 one time.
oh my gosh.
That's rather chilly.
Yeah, that's chilly.
So if you can let me share my screen, I can show you what all me and my club up here did.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
All right, so which one do I want to share? I guess it's that's one. Okay, is that working? Share, Poop?
Yeah, I see blue.
I
Blue,
see a computer screen.
Okay, blue screen.
Ours,
So there's
okay.
me, N4 Delta Mike. I only did 426 single sideband QSOs. And
Only
oh, yeah,
426.
I missed being top dog by 13. If I'd have done 13 more, I would have beat the 438 that our CW guru up there. He was just hammering them out.
Oh my gosh.
W4 KLI. Yep. He's in the QRP group up there.
Yeah, he went to sleep and I was catching up on him and almost got him. But what kills me is the number 2 guy for points only did 125 QSOs, but he did more points. And that's because he did a few digital, did a few sideband. But for the digital, I mean, for Winter Field Day, each time you do a band, that's a multiplier. So he got 1 contact in on 10 and 1 contact in on 15 meters. And so he did 1/4 of the work I did and got more points. That just kind of rubs me
Wow.
wrong. I could not find anybody on 10 or 15. Every time I went, it was either they were so low in the noise, I didn't waste time with it. But anyhow, this little tool here, you can set this up so that all of your folks in your club that use either M1, MM, or
N3FJP.
Yeah, that guy. If you use Scott software, it can all feed to a server and you can get competition between each person. If you click on someone's call sign, it takes you to their status page. You can see however many QSOs they want to show. And that's kind of cool because you can see what frequencies they're on if they share that. So that I can see, oh yeah, these guys are working over here on 20 meters, and towards the end we were all on 20 meters. Where did they go? Got to go back one. Close that. Where was I at? Not there. Not there. All right, let's just hit that button. That'll take me back to it. Towards the end we were all on 20 meters, but there was times somebody would be on 40 meters or some other band, and you can see how many contacts they were making every 20 minutes or how many contacts they were making in 60 minutes. So you know how good that band was. Was it worth leaving the band you were on to go someplace else? All right. So that's kind of nice to know. And then and the Gwinnett Amateur Radio Club was not the only one doing this. The Athens Radio Club has done this in the past, and so has the North Fulton County Amateur Radio Club. So you can go and look at what the other clubs are doing. So you can say, hey, I need to get on the phone and get more of my club members on the air making contacts because they're kicking our butt. And then there was something else I wanted to yak about. Where did that go? Oh, no, that's not it. It's a multicolor screen. I'll find it. I'll keep closing things till or there's my logging software.
Yeah, okay, that looks familiar. That's what we used.
All right.
Oh, yeah, it's the same thing.
All right. All right, so let's go to WA4USN. Okay, so one of my first ham radio repeater sites is in Charleston, South Carolina, on the USS Yorktown. I didn't know it until
Oh,
after
wow.
I got married. My father-in-law, this is one of the 4 aircraft carriers that he helped decommission. He was an electrician, worked on the flight deck of a handful of aircraft carriers, and everyone he worked on, they scrapped it. He helped decommission all 4 aircraft carriers. He was almost as bad as the Germans. I mean, the Japanese during World War II. After he retired from the Mayport base, the building that he worked in, about a year and a half after he got out, they bulldozed it.
This guy's news.
Now he tells his sailor story different than I tell it. But anyhow, going to repeaters. You go to this thing here on repeaters, and you scroll down here. This is some of the. I don't know how well y'all can see that. Maybe I can make that a little bit bigger.
See it?
You can make it a little bigger. Okay, that's better.
Okay. Ian was saying that you can't get on commercial towers. A lot of these are on commercial towers. All of the linking is done via an audio microwave channel that's part of the public broadcast system. So that if you're in like Aiken, South Carolina, or Barnesville, or down in Spartanburg, or Columbia, or in Charleston, South Carolina, any of the hospitals, I don't know if y'all are seeing the mouse pointer. All those down there in pink are on hospitals. Down in the Charleston area, all of those are linked together by microwave.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk from Charleston, say, to Conway, where it has that link, *30, you pick up your microphone, you hit the star, you hit the 3 and the 0, and the repeater that you're on is bingo linked to that one.
Damn. Sounds almost like our StarNet down here.
Okay. See this date up here when this was last updated on the 1st of January of 2013? This here was almost like that when I joined 30 years ago. This stuff is 30 years old. This is farmers, big farmers, shrimp boat operators as the local hams, except for a few that work in the television or radio industry. These are country bumpkins with a network system I've not seen anywhere. We didn't have anything like this in Austin. In Austin, we had Advanced Micro Devices, we had Motorola, we had Silicon Labs, AMD, National Instruments, Texas Instruments, 3M. You might have 1 or 2 link repeaters, but you couldn't do this. When they want to bring up an Aries net, you can hit, I don't think it gives you those numbers. Yeah, up there at the top, it says conference, you hit *70. Half of the repeaters are now linked.
Wow.
If 2 in a city, 1 in that city is linked. You now have your resource net. If you need a logistics net, you can then hit *71, and the rest are brought up. So you could have 2 different nets going, covering 80% of the state of South Carolina. Put in a bunch of country bumpkins 30 years ago.
Wow.
Wow, that's really cool.
This is before the internet. We're talking
Before All Star.
Before, yeah, but we're talking before AOL. We're talking no dial-up modems back then, you know.
Was it before Prodigy?
Yes.
Was it? Was it
Yeah.
before was it before Ask Jeeves?
Long before Ask Jeeves.
Was it before
Yeah.
300 baud Commodore 64 dial-up?
Yes, because
I'm just screwing with you, dude. I'm
because
back.
It was all done
I used to have I did not know that when I took apart my Commodore 64 300 baud dial-up modem and saw that AMD world modem chip in that thing, I did not know that, and almost 20 years later, I would be working at AMD with the guys who built that world modem chip.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
But anyhow, where's the Florence, the Ondal repeater listed up here? It's got a tremendous footprint. The coax is yay so big around in diameter.
Wow.
It's all hardline. The TV tower,
Goodness.
the direct lightning strike, it came down about 200 feet on the 2,000-foot tower, and the lightning decided it didn't want to go follow that feed line down. It wanted to follow the triangular tower, so it burned a hole in the side of the feed line. When the insurance company put in the new antenna and the new feed line, the engineer just capped off that other one, put a connector on it, put his DB Products antenna at the 1,800-foot mark. Been there for
1,800 feet. Oh my gosh.
1,800 feet, and the average terrain is like 7 feet above sea level.
Oh my gosh, that footprint is
But
gonna...
you can, yeah. I used to work that repeater while I was in the Navy. I could look off over in the tower, way 14 miles away, was this inch and a quarter high tower with the little blinking lights on it. I could sit there with my Radio Shack HPX 202, and I would talk on the repeater my whole 4-hour watch. The other one that was on the aircraft carrier, I could see the aircraft carrier from where I was sitting at. I could talk on that repeater on the lowest low power, stretch my batteries as long as I could, because I would just sit out there and gab while guarding the ship. But anyhow, that was some of my intros in the ham radio, and it's we would do field day from that aircraft carrier. We would hang our antennas off the flight deck, just sit them out there in a bucket full of cement. That was the hardest part, getting the bucket of cement that the vertical antenna would sit in up on the flight deck or on the edge of the catwalk. Sitting in a hangar bay and making Brazilian contacts. Something about having your vertical 80 foot off the water makes for an excellent antenna.
Oh, I bet that's gonna ground plane for miles and miles and miles.
And then and somewhere I've got a QSL card from these folks, but you're sitting out there. We'd be up in this hangar bay. Antennas would be sitting up here. You're off the water. The only bad thing about it was the verticals were not directional, so half your signal went out over to the ocean, and you're trying to do QSOs with Charlie the tuna. I don't understand tuna, or dolphin, or whale, but you get a lot of contact, especially you're using a call WA4USN.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
But anyhow, field day here was a blast. I'm looking forward to the Georgia QSO party and then regular field day.
Yep, Georgia QSO party is a load of fun. I know about that. Oh, by the way, Dallas, you might want to mention the GARS meeting coming up this Tuesday. They're going to be talking about digital modes.
Yep.
Yeah, cars, GARS, and scars. Don't forget.
Yeah. Well, see, this one here is cars. I've gone from being at a cars one. We had scars when I was in Texas, and now I'm in GARS. So yes, it's all the club names sound pretty much the same. But,
because they all end with our amateur radio club.
Amateur Radio Society. Yeah. That's the hardest part with this one. Yeah. I've had to learn how to spell society, and I am dyslexic, so I'm always confusing the letters in the middle.
You know what I had a hard time with? Amateur.
Yes, I don't
Sometimes
have
I
it
would
with me.
mix the word letters in the middle of that too.
Yes, I have a T-shirt from the Austin Amateur Radio Club, and it's got almost armature, like in a motor. So they printed some 500 T-shirts, and on the front they have amateur misspelled.
Oh,
I bought a domain name one time that was spelled wrong, so I'll admit it. We were actually buying a domain name called Ghost Gadgets, and it was something we were doing with a project. And the one I actually bought said Ghost Gadgets. I literally typed it in wrong and bought the wrong domain name. Talk
Well,
about an idiot.
well, it depends on how much you paid for it. If you
I paid
bought it,
$10 for it and I canceled it the next year. It wasn't a big deal, but
well, if you cancel it, early enough, within a day or two, they'll let you transfer it and get something else. But it's only $10.
Ghost maggots.
So if you had to like go through a lawyer and buy a domain name from somebody who owns one, that could have been a $10,000-$20,000 oops. And yes, and I had a coworker sell one for almost $40,000.
I'd like to think I would have proofread it if I was spending more than $10.
Yes.
But yeah, it happens. I put out a newsletter a couple of weeks ago that had the wrong date on the top. It had the wrong year or something. Accidents happen, and we all just get used to that.
So you get in a hurry.
Well,
Yeah.
the easiest way to find the boo-boos is to send it out wrong.
Yeah.
Everybody will catch it, but you send it out to have everybody proofread it, and nobody finds anything.
You know what I find? I'm going to say something. I don't want to upset anybody, so don't anybody take this personal. Okay. There's something about ham radio guys. They love to. You send them this thing that took you 7 hours to make, and it's beautiful. And you send it out, and it's got all this wonderful information in it, and it's just great. And I did it for nothing. I don't charge nothing. And they write me back nothing like, "Hey, I enjoyed your newsletter, but." No, it's just, your date's wrong. That's literally all it'll say. And I got to go back and figure out what date are they even talking about.
That's sadistic.
I'll get one that says, "I really wish you'd put some links to this stuff in that you talk about." And I go back and I look and I'm like, there's 71 links in this email. There's a link to everything I talk about in here.
Gosh.
Those are the blue letters, folks. So I don't know. You can't make everybody happy, but
No.
I've also learned that I used to get really upset at myself over stupid mistakes, and that's a lesson I've had to learn in this life, is to let it roll. 10 years ago when I started in radio, I'd say something stupid on the radio and I'd carry it around for 3 days. Now I say something stupid on the air, then I make fun of myself saying it on the air.
That's usually what I do.
I don't care. I'm stupid. You listen to me. You're stupid too. Whatever. I don't care. It is what it is. I mean, listen, mistakes are mistakes, right? Anyway, so anybody else with Winter Field Day? Who else had a Winter Field Day experience?
Surely somebody else played Winter Field Day. If not, they missed out on a bunch of fun.
Yeah, I thought it was a load of fun.
Yeah, and I'll give my 1-minute speech that I give about 7 or 8, 10 times a year. Contests are for fun. They're for making contacts. They're for learning your equipment. They're not for winning. I love when I'm doing a contest, and it's one of those ones where part of the exchange is the log number. You know the ones I'm talking about, Rick, where it's like you got to give like you're a 1C 128 or whatever, and that means that you're the 128th person that I've logged.
Yeah,
in
the ones
contest.
with a serial number. Yeah,
a serial number, right?
Yeah,
those contests will truly show you how bad you are, because I will sit there and work my ass off, and I'll be like, "Yep, 1A 002," and he'll be like, "Okay, yeah, I'm 1A 049." I'm like, this thing started 28 minutes ago and he's got 49 contacts already? How the hell did he do that? I don't even know how it's humanly possible. I don't, and then I love it when you wake up the next morning, because I don't usually go all night. I'm getting too old for that. I'll wake up the next morning, go out about 9 o'clock. I'll tune up and I'll see, and I'll get away. Guy comes on. Yep, 1A, 3749. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It took me 2 months to make that many contacts. Oh, anyway.
Yeah.
they're-
And when you haven't made any contacts, you say, you're 1A 0003.
Yeah.
Really?
Makes me just want to make up something. Yeah, 239. Yeah.
You want to start the damn thing at 200,000 and something.
Yeah. Can I start at 1200?
Yeah, there you go.
That'll sound better for the rest of the day anyway. I hate that. But that's why I always tell everybody, if you're in it to win it, you're in it for the wrong reasons.
You need to tell that to the Huntsville Amateur Radio Club up here. They come in first, second, or third every year.
Right.
And they've actually told my friend that he couldn't set up there and operate because they were worried it might interfere and bring their numbers down a little bit.
Yeah. And
So
you know
they're
what?
so
Honest to God, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what their club wants to do, hard contesting, I'm all for it. I eventually one day want to get in with some contesters and actually get good at it. I love being good at something. You know?
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah, I mean, I've been producing radio for 10 years. I'm good at it, and it's fun. I like when I'm good at something, it's a lot more fun to do. And I would love to get really good at contesting. But right now, I use contesting for practice, for contacts, and for the fun of doing it. And I have a great time just sitting right here in my shack contesting. And I don't care how many I get, because almost all of my contacts are FT8. Contesting actually has people on sideband that want to talk to you, that won't yell at you for being on their frequency. Yeah, I don't know how they assign those, but they do somehow.
Dallas knows about the friendly competition between North Fulton and Gars too. That's fun.
There's nothing wrong with contesting for points or contesting to win. It's a load of fun. But what I'm saying to you is, for the first 5 years even, don't worry about the score. It's literally something you do to make contacts for your logbook. The moment that I'm done with that thing, I mix it down into an ADIF file, and I send it to QRZ, and I send it over to Logbook of the World. Done. In my logbook. Single sideband contacts. And then if you turn your log in, it doesn't matter. You know, I usually do. Sometimes I don't. I do it for the experience. I want to know how to make a Cabrello file or whatever the hell it is. I want to learn how to send that off. So I learned how to do it. Okay. Anything else on Winter Field Day?
That must be N3 FJP.
Is
that you showing that?
Yeah, that's me sharing my contact map. With N3 FJP, you can have it do a map of all the places that I hit. I'm surprised I couldn't hear Louisiana. I got all of Mississippi. I skipped over Mississippi. I got all but like 3 or 4 states. It was just amazing. Lots of Canada. I worked 1DX and yeah. Oh, and I worked a guy from Texas that I know. That we were talking about this guy 6-7 months ago. He's got a nude call sign in NU5ED. How you NU5
N5UDE.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know. But he was using that call sign, and he was just tuning through the band, and there I was. He was my next to the last contact. And, it's really interesting when you bump into somebody that you really know. I've known Bob for 25 years by now.
Well, my
naked radios.
Naked radio. Yeah, but are they really naked? I mean, come on. I think they're faking it.
No, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
He's barefoot. Yeah.
That's all
With a
I
whole
want.
new meaning to barefoot. Yes.
Well, it's barefoot and there's nudist. I didn't know how far we were going.
Yeah, he's barefoot all the way.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As long as he doesn't go on television, he's fine.
that's
Well,
right. As long as you're in the right place, it's perfectly legal. Anyway, yeah, my second contact was AA4JS under the call sign of W4LX.
There you go.
So that was my second one, John, right
John.
over at the community center right over there. And I hear him, and I was able to break right into his traffic jam, considering I probably could also have thrown a rock and hit the pavilion.
Yeah, I was there.
I'm about a mile and a half from there, I think, as
Yeah.
crow flies. So not very far. And
I could hear him over here too.
yeah, they were doing pretty good. I was trying to get them on a different band. I got them on 20.
I heard him on 20 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
Bob
looks like,
Lewis is on CW, and I could hear him over here.
40 looks like it's opening up a little bit, despite the fact that we're still at a K of 4. That's not really good. The bands are all showing closed right now. We've got an active geomagnetic field, and yeah, so not really good. But the solar flux index is slowly rising. So what means is, if we can keep this solar index up over 130 like it is right now, and then we can get that K to drop back down to 1 and quiet down, but keep that solar flux over 130, that really tends to open up 10, 12, and 15. I'm starting to learn a lot about this. I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of fun in predicting this and trying to figure it out. But yeah, I'm looking at 40 right now, and 40 looks like it's doing okay. I'm trying to see if 30 is weird. Sometimes 30 opens up. And you know what's weird about 30? When I transmit on 30, I have to do it under 50 watts, because if I go over 50 watts, all my USB stuff starts going on and off.
Weird.
Yeah, I'm getting some HF
I've never had that
bleed over.
problem.
Yep,
30
I'm
is a
getting-
great band.
Yeah, 30 is a great band, except my mouse, my keyboard doesn't like it. My rig control USB doesn't like it. My sound card doesn't like it. And my screen extenders. I'll put it up at like 80 and hit the button for tune, and all my screens will go out. Everything goes off. Every USB thing I got in here goes out.
Weird.
And I've got, I just screwed my screens up trying to show you guys, but I have been trying everything. Look at this thing. Oh crap! I've got my
This thing's
screens are
going
all.
nuts.
Yeah, I know. My screens are all crazy now. Okay.
I can see you on the other.
I hope you guys can see this. But
All right.
that's look at this thing. It's huge. Joe sold me a bunch of these. These are huge ferrite traps, and I went and dug up about 10 of these that I had, and I wrapped all of my USB stuff like 8 times through here and closed them up, and it still does it.
Yep.
So, I'll tell you what though, I was able to stop the 2 of the monitors from going on and off all the time with these. But the USB stuff, no dice. It just is susceptible to that certain frequency. I'm also inside a shed. I bought this shack. I bought this. It was about a year old. It was a repo, and the lady took it back, and I went in there and I'm looking for a shed, and she goes, "I got a couple of used ones that are in really good shape." And I went and looked. This thing looked brand new sitting there. So I bought it, had it sat here. I love this shed. I finished the inside out drywall, the whole bit, and put electric, the whole thing. But it has a metal shell, and I didn't realize until after I bought it that there is consequences to that. I find
Do you have metal roof?
Metal roof, metal
Okay.
walls, metal door.
It's a Faraday cage.
It's a Faraday cage. The floor is the only thing that's wood. And
Dude,
it's got-
if you end up with a CME that wipes out everything, you can pretty much just leave all your stuff in there because it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just connect all your antennas, you'll be fine.
yeah,
I would almost be saying, why isn't the floor also metallic? Because
Yeah.
in the
Well, and what I really need to do is run a ground cable around the bottom of it that connects to the metal all the way around, and then run that
Yeah.
into some ground rods and get that.
Make sure
get
that sucker's ground.
so it'll
And that's the
dump it out.
safest place in the world to be in a damn thunderstorm.
Yeah, well, this is where I'm going to be. That's one of the reasons that big tree's gone, because I'm riding it here. This shed, probably the biggest reason I bought this particular one was it was the only one of the 5 or 6 that I was looking at that had the Dade County hurricane rating on it.
Oh, yeah.
All
Miami
the other
Dade
ones
hurricane
had the
rating.
Florida hurricane rating, which is
Yeah.
good.
But
Okay.
you want the Miami-Dade.
The Miami-Dade one is like really good. It's got the extra strapping and everything in it. And I paid them to put extra things down in the ground. I think there's 8 of them under there. I've tried really hard to make sure that this was going to be here before, during, and after a storm. I'm on a really high piece of land that won't flood. There's
That's
no
awesome.
way it'll flood. It doesn't flood. This area up here is very high, and my ditch is very deep, and it runs right out. So flooding's not a problem for me. It's wind. I got to get through the windstorm. But this shed's great. It is a Faraday cage, and what I find is if I let something loose inside of here, it affects everything else inside of here. And the moment I walk in that door with an HT, it goes. It picks up nothing inside this shed. HTs pick up nothing in here. Even the 685, which is right up the road, will not pick up inside here.
Wow.
I have 2 antenna feeds over here with SMAs on them, and they're set up to antennas outside because if I'm going to even hook up a bow thing in here to monitor something, it's got to have an antenna outside.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I
anyway.
understand. Yeah. The apartment I had next door had a metal roof, and it was just about like that, even though the walls weren't that way. But it was all the antennas had to be outside.
Now, on the flip side, took a magnetic car mount antenna and stuck it up on the roof and took an alligator clip and clipped it to the roof as a ground plane. It works great. And it's literally just a quarter wave sitting up there. And I'm thinking eventually about drilling me 2 holes and putting in 2 of those. What do they call the flat plate ones that you put through the hole in the car roof?
MNO.
Yes.
MNO.
I'm thinking about getting 2 of those and literally just drilling a hole and putting those in the roof, and just I can screw whatever I want into them. And because they'll be grounded right in the roof, they would be a great ground plane.
You got a ground plane right there. So yeah, you should be good.
I've known many a person put a screwdriver antenna on a tin roof.
Mm-hmm.
They have a house with a tin roof or a shop with a tin roof. They just mount the screwdriver antenna on that roof, and now you've got good ground plane and low profile, and works fine.
Well, I'll give you guys a little bit of news and then we'll move on. As you guys know, I got we got a bunch of money in for some stuff, and we were able to. I don't want to get into it, but we were able to end up with a bunch of money at one time, and so we went ahead and we're deciding to go ahead and do a lot of capital improvements. And one of them, the first one, was to remove all the trees from our yard, which we've done. The last 2 are leaving in the next day or so. I think we're going to have enough here after everything's done for me to buy that hex beam I want.
Oh, cool.
And I'm going to buy that hex beam I want.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
I hope to get mine up tomorrow. I've got everything
nice.
here. Yeah, I hope to get the thing up. I've kind of been waiting for the weather to clear up. Tomorrow is 20% chance of showers before 10 a.m. So if
and there's a 40% chance they're wrong.
Yeah, well, that's true. We'll just have to fight with it. You know how it goes. But anyway, I got to get the big stick in the ground and get the tipper up and all that stuff. So we're going to be working on it this weekend.
Well, I think I've pretty much decided what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and buy that hex, the 20 to 6.
Yeah.
I guess it is 20 to 6. And it does get all the different bands between 20 and 6. I'm looking at getting that one. I want to get the one that's the whole kit, and
Yeah.
I'm going to build the thing out here and put it on. I've got my 20-foot oil derrick that I'm putting on a 7-foot wooden stand that I'm building. All
Yeah.
that's going to happen in the next month. I'm putting pressure treated 12-foot 4x4s down into the ground, about
Yeah.
5 foot each, and they're going to stick up about 7.5 feet, and then there's going to be 2x6s bolted around the top, and that's the stand that my antenna is actually going to sit on. And
Damn.
it's a freestander, so the
Yeah.
front 2 legs are going to be on pins, and then when it sits straight up, the back 2 legs will go down in, and 2 pins will go in, and it'll just be held in by 4 pins.
Yeah.
And when it's time to lay it over, you just pull the 2 back pins out, have my son-in-law go run on the other side of the shed and just let it down with the rope.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be kind of like what I'm doing. I'm gonna put a 6x6 in. I've already got the holes drilled in it and everything, and I'm using a Pinninger radio tipper, and that thing attaches to the 6x6, and I'm gonna put it up about 20 or 24 feet. I'm decide which one. I've got an extra piece here, but poles, those poles that's all are a lot thicker than your schedule 20, schedule 40 stuff. So
Right.
it should be pretty robust.
Well, when I put mine up, I'm going to have to sleeve my schedule 40 with another schedule 40.
Yeah.
It's going to have at least 2. But I got to tell you guys, I kind of like the mast being non-conductive. I have had better luck with antennas that are on non-conductive masts and non-conductive beams than I
Really?
have. Yeah. It's just my experience because I've built a bunch of them. I've built like
Yeah.
20
We're
something
gonna see what
antennas.
this one's like, but this
Yeah.
is all aluminum.
This one, it probably wouldn't matter because the pole's directly underneath it. It might just serve as, I don't know. I mean, this thing doesn't need a ground plane because it's actually a Yagi.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get technical, it's a 2-element Yagi is what
2
a
element.
hex
Yeah,
beam is.
that's right.
Right.
Which hex beam you looking at?
That one we looked at, it's a kit. It's like $1,200 or whatever. I forget.
Okay.
It's like, it was a kit. It came with everything you needed. It even came
Yeah.
with a bucket of fried chicken. So I'm hoping. Yeah, I mean, I just want to get this thing and set it up. I can't wait.
What are you gonna use for? You got a rotor yet?
Yes, I've got a rotor on top of that 20-foot derrick. The 20-foot freestander has a rotor in it, and then I've got an 8-foot mast on top of that. So this is going to put my hex beam at about 37, 38 feet total.
You're gonna go up higher, yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to be up pretty high, and then I got this metal bracket that it's a fish tank stand, and I've built a receiver out of it so that when I'm going to bring my tower down for storms, I've got it marked in the driveway. I've dragged this thing out and sit it in the driveway, and the antenna will lay down into the receiver, which will basically look like this, and the antenna will come down and lay in that receiver so that the hex beam is still just off the ground.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And because that way the foot of it is at 7 feet, and when it lays over, it'll lay in this thing that's like 5 or 6 feet tall, 7 feet, whatever. And that way the hex beam that's sitting on the end and the 6-meter beam that's underneath it, the 5-element 6-meter Yagi that's underneath it, and then probably the set of Yagis that are underneath that will all be able to come down and sit basically with the weight of the tower on that. And then I'll go out there and just bootstrap it down to that and strap it down, and it'll weather the storm like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's no trees over it to fall on it. There's nothing to damage it.
So you should be good.
Yep, that's my plan, is to get that thing down.
I don't have that much clearance here, so I'm going to restrict myself. Mine will probably be at the highest, be about maybe close to 30 feet, and that's going to be about it. But it should do fine. I'm not worried about it.
Rick, one of the things we need to really do is especially for you and I, if we're going to have these hex beams, we're going to be able to get back up quick after a storm.
Yeah.
And it's HF WindLink is something we really need to make sure that we can do.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble with it, but I'm gonna buy the Signal Link, the actual box that you're supposed to have. Okay, because I'm not as poor as I was a few weeks ago. I'm actually gonna buy the actual thing and hook it up and see if I can get my HF WinLink working. My goal is to be able to put this thing down, weather the storm, get it back up, spin it around, and immediately get contact established with an HF station across on the other side of the Gulf.
Yeah.
Texas has a bunch of them over there, Louisiana,
Yeah.
and right after the storm, when all the power's down and everything, it should be nothing to get HF out on 20 meters
Yeah.
to jump over to Texas and get an HF and get a wind link out to let people know that people are okay.
Yeah.
And
Good idea.
yeah, so that's one of the things on my WatchNet. One of the things I want to do is establish very early on a way to continuously send and receive emails. And I'm even considering, when this tower's down, having some kind of backup vertical or something that I can have up.
Yeah. Something you could put up right away. Yeah.
Yes, like just a backup vertical. If it gets messed up, it gets messed up. It's $100 antenna, but it keeps me on the air. As far as my VHF stuff, the one VHF antenna stays up all the time. It should handle 100-mile-an-hour winds. It should be good.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anything else on that? Anything else on the WatchNet or anything with the antennas? Anything? Okay, let's move on real quick. The next thing I want to talk about is a net. I want to put together a net, and you guys know that anytime I want to put together something, I like to come here and ask you guys, because you guys have been doing this a lot longer than me, and it's important that we kind of look at this and figure out what's the best time and the best day and all that to do this net. And so what I did was I kind of been thinking about when could we possibly do this net, and it needs to be it's only going to be 30 minutes long, probably most nights 20-30 minutes. It's not going to be a big deal. It'll be once a week. It's not something you have to do. If you can make it, you make it, type of thing. But I think it's important to exercise every week the mechanism of calling that repeater and making that contact. So I think it's important. That's why they do these nets in so many other places. Everywhere you go, if there's a group that's together, they have some kind of a radio net. And I really think that's why, is because that keeps that functionality there. It keeps it fresh. It keeps everybody knows where it is in their radio. They go to it all the time. And so I think it's important for us to do that too. So I want to open it up first to ask you guys, what do you think? Do you think that as the Southwest Florida WatchNet, should we have our own radio net once a week where we can just get on there and say hi and give any announcements? Test out. What do you guys think?
I definitely think that's a good idea. Even if you do it monthly, if you're having, not enough people checking in or something, you do it monthly, maybe. Definitely need to get a net going on that repeater. And the watch net is something that doesn't exist yet. So I say go for it 100%.
Well, I get off at 8. And so I've been thinking, when can we do it? Is there anybody else that had any comments before we go?
Yeah, there is an awful lot of nets around here vying for everybody's attention. So you're going to have to be pretty sharp about what time and what night you put it on.
And what band you put it on.
Yeah, well, we're going to put it on. We're going to do something a little different here. Every net in Lee County, just about, with the exception of like the 220 net, which is on 220 and 2 meters. Every net in this county is on 2 meters, and this one's going to be on 440.
My brother-in-law Paul says everybody down there is always on 6 meters. That's all they ever talk about. And if they're on 2 meters, they're talking about being on 6 meters.
Right. Well, one of the things that I want to do on this net, and I was going to get into this next, one of the things I want to do on this net is test capabilities. So we may do a net one night. We go around one time, we do an announcement, whatever, and then we say, I'm going to go switch to this on 6 meters. If you guys want to try, we can try that out next and do stuff like that. I'm open to stuff like that. But I also know that when we move a net to a 6 meter or a 10 meter or a 220 or some oddball thing, we lose most of the people. But yet I don't want to be on 2 meter like every other net.
Yeah.
The channel that we're probably going to end up using as our working channel is the 444-775. So I think that's probably where it needs to go. It's a great repeater that's never ever used.
Yeah.
So
And most people now have 440 capability.
yeah, even if it's the Bofang, and honest to God, you can build you a little 3-element Yagi about this big, and literally screw it right on top of the radio and just stand there and point it at the tower. I mean,
yeah,
that's what I like about 440. Let me think about this. You're in your house, it's a bad lightning storm, you got your antennas unhooked, and you want to get on the watch net, right? What's the best antenna to put in your house? A Yagi. I mean, you can build you a little 4, 5, 6, 7-element Yagi for 440. It's only this big. It can go on a little tripod, and when you were going to activate, you just bring the tripod out of the closet, sit it in the spare bedroom, and run the wire around the corner and screw it onto your radio and sit in your easy chair.
And
you're perfectly safe. The lightning's outside. All your aluminum's inside.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as 100% safe with lightning, but you would be pretty safe.
You'd be a lot better off than you would with an outside antenna. And you can make something out of that with a piece of PVC pipe and some rods, and you're all set. You've done that. You got several of that type of antenna there.
Yep, I do. And I even have been looking at setting up. I've got a 7-element that I made out of a piece of PVC and some aluminum stock. And it's 7 elements. It SWRs perfectly at 775. And what I'm thinking about doing with this is I've got a spot in one of my rooms, and I'm thinking about literally hanging this in the window from 2 thumbtacks to where it's aiming right out the window just right. And then just running the wire down and running it out and running it into my shack out here about 50 feet. And then when we're on this, I can hook this up to a mobile or a portable, depending on how bad the storm is. If it's real bad, I'll hook it up to my 10-watt portable, and I'll still be able to hit that repeater, no problem. Or I can hook it up to a mobile. I got to tell you guys, you're just as likely to get shocked through your microphone from the commercial power as you are from your antenna.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So when you're talking and you're like, oh, I better get off of here, I'm afraid it's going to strike my tower. It's more likely that it's going to strike the power lines and come through the power lines and shock you through your radio. So just putting that out there. That's why the safest way to be is an inside antenna that's shooting through a window that's hooked up to a battery operated radio. You're just about perfectly safe. I don't know what else you could do. If it gets you there, it was coming for you, buddy.
Yeah, you could crossband into that HT from another HT, be downstairs.
And that takes the danger away. That takes yes. Once you crossband, that takes all the danger away because it's we're now connecting through RF. So yeah, absolutely. That's why if you remember in the 90s, if you guys remember the 80s and the 90s, the cordless phone. Now I don't know about all you guys, but the ones that were down here in Florida, they're in the 80s and 90s. The cordless phones were very popular because you could stay talking on the phone during a lightning storm.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big deal back then. You pulled that 49 megahertz antenna way out to about here, and you get on that cell phone and you talk to your friend or whatever.
Just don't call up on that and give your credit card number because anybody with a scanner could hear you.
49.3 megahertz, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know that was what mine were always 49.3 or 49.9.
Yeah.
And
just
they were always, yep. All the Radio Shack stuff. I think they owned something in the 49 megahertz range because everything they ever sold was 49.3 or 49.9.
Well, there were only like 6 channels.
Yeah. Yeah, and they sold most of that kind of stuff.
Most of them only gave you an AB switch, but there was, so you you couldn't go through and listen to everybody's everything.
Yep. So I started thinking, to get back to our discussion here a little bit, I started thinking, when the hell can we do a radio net, right? I mean, look at this. It's kind of a mess. There's stuff every night. Well, Joseph and I talked a little while ago, and I've talked to a few other folks, and I think I'm actually found a day that's not so bad, and that's Wednesday at 8:30 or 9 o'clock. There's the Yazoo Fusion Net. He starts at 8. He takes check-ins before 8, and he's usually done about 8:40.
Yeah.
I was going to that net for a while. I love the net. I love Bill Warren, great guy. But that would be the one right there, 8:30 Wednesday. There's also 8:30 Tuesday. There's nothing going on 8:30 Tuesday except the FMARC meeting. I know how the current president is. If he doesn't get out of the meeting within 1 hour, he turns into a chicken or something. So I don't think the meetings are going to go that late anymore. They really don't seem to go more than about an hour.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then Tuesday nights are a real good night. Most of us don't go to the FMARC meetings. So Tuesday night turns out to be a good night at 8:30. And then right after that is the 9 o'clock Skywarn up on NI4CE if we wanted to get involved in that. But so it's either 8:30 Tuesday or 8:30 Wednesday. 8:30 Monday, the newbie net's usually still going on.
Yeah.
I am surprised lately. It took an hour to do their last FMARC net. I don't know what's going on. It's just taking a long time with all the repeaters.
They're having a hard time with the 3 or
Yeah.
4 repeaters linked together. That's what the deal is.
I know, and as much as I love the system, I don't know if it's working for what we're using it for there. But anyway,
Yeah, that's a
and I'm not
mistake.
saying it's not. I'm saying I don't know what the solution is there. But I'm a little leery to do anything on Monday night unless we go to 9 o'clock. Tuesday night I would feel okay at 8:30. Wednesday night I kind of feel okay at 8:30, although I do not want to step on Bill's toes. Thursday we've got the digital practice net at 8, and we got the Cape Coral Gab Fest at 8. But those are both generally always done by 8:30.
Yeah.
They're short nets. So that's why there's Thursday at 8:30. So those are the 3 options basically. Is Monday. Again, I don't think Monday would be a good night. So we're looking at like Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. And you got, I don't know. This 220 net is taking about an hour, but it's usually done by 8:30. The Fusion net though generally goes as late as 9 o'clock sometimes. So I really don't want to step on. Bill has as many as 20 people in that Fusion net sometimes.
Yeah, he gets a lot.
That's a good net.
Yeah.
So I really don't want to step on his toes either. So what do you guys think? Where would you put it?
Do you have any objection of doing it on a Saturday or a Sunday? You didn't show Saturdays and Sundays.
There's quite a few. I know there's not many Sunday nets here, but I know Atlanta has a bunch of them.
Well, we do have 2 Sunday nets. We actually have a 7:30, the loggerhead, and we have the 9 o'clock windmill. And those are both active nets. I participate in both of those when I can.
Charles is doing that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why I didn't really consider Sunday night, because we've already got a 7:30 and a 9 o'clock net on that night.
My SST net that night.
I was thinking
I'm liking Tuesday night better the more I look at it. Because then literally right after our net, we could go over and do the Skywarn net on NI4CE.
That might be your best option.
I know, because we're wanting to get in with the Skywarn deal,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm already Skywarn trained, and it's not hard to do. And everybody else that joins the group doesn't cost anything. We're going to get everybody Skywarn trained that wants to do it.
You might even be able to do it online now.
You can do it all online, and I know exactly what to do, and I know who to send the email to get the to get registered and the whole bit. So, like I said, once we get a group of 10 or so guys in, we're going to just bang it out one weekend. It's no big deal. It's something you do right online, and we'll just have the information there, and you just knock it out. We're going to be working with CC Flares in Charlotte County, and we're also going to be working with Skywarn Ruskin through the NI4CE system, which is also where CC Flares does their stuff through as well. So, but they're going to work with us up there, so that this is going to be nice. I can't believe that. I still have a hard time believing that Lee County doesn't do any Skywarn stuff.
Yeah, particularly after the tornado came through here.
Yeah, but hey, that's cool. You know, that's what's great about amateur radio. You see something that needs to be done, you do it.
Do it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't bitch about it. I do it. And when I go to a group and I try to get them to do something really cool, and they don't want to talk to me about it, then I'll go do it myself.
They might come
Oh,
along later.
wait, I think that happened.
Lynn has asked a question on the chat. She wants to know, is that document that you're showing, is that document available on the TechNet website?
This document is actually, no secrets here. This is actually in the newsletter that goes out every Friday. If you just scroll down, that actual document you were looking at is way down here at the bottom, right below the big map there, right here under Daily Nets. And yeah, I put this together because there's no complete list of nets. I cannot find, nobody has one.
Yeah.
Every club has a list of nets, but none of them are complete. So I tried very hard to make a complete list of all the nets in Southwest Florida, and I still don't have them all. But yeah, that's where this is. It's on the, if you didn't get the newsletter, Lynn, it's on the website. Just go to swfltech.net and click on the newsletter tab. It's right there. You can download a copy right there.
She says, thank you. She'll print it out.
Okay, perfect.
Cool.
Yep, this one's good. Also, these blue links all work in here. So, like, if you want to listen to this net and you can't listen to it, like, let's say you can't get it on the radio, you can just click that, and it actually brings you right to my feed. It actually brings you right to my feed. It's going to make me disable my ad blocker. But you can actually click on it, and it takes you right to the feed where you can listen to that net if you can't participate. So anyway, all right, enough of that. I tell you guys that we need to move on because I don't want to drag this. I keep coming back to Tuesday nights at 8:30. Does anybody have another time that they think might be better? Saturday nights are dead water, dead meat.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Friday nights, I hear there's already a pretty good net on Friday nights. So and Sundays are out, and Thursdays are kind of out. We're really running out of days here. Thursdays are just a mess. Wednesdays, I do not want to mess with Bill. So I'm really back to Tuesdays. Look, FMARC, they're never there past 8:30.
Yeah, the meeting is over about 8:30.
And everybody leaving the meeting can call us on the radio as soon as they
get
leave
on the radio
meeting.
in the car, no biggie. And that's only one night a month. So.
And that's one night a month for the board meeting, and one night a month for the other meeting, and then one night a month for the Aries meeting, which never goes more than about 45 or 50 minutes. So I keep going back to Tuesday at 8:30. Does anybody have any positive or negative on that? Okay. Now, real quick, before we move on, what are you guys' thoughts on that whole net control? Net control, this is KO4 EFS. What do you guys think about that?
Are you talking about checking into nets?
I'm talking about the way it's done. I'm specifically talking about the way we do it.
Yeah.
Notice our Aries team in their preamble says you do not need to say net control before calling in.
Well, yeah, we've gone to that with the Fort Myers FMRC nets too. You just say like K4REB, Rick, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah. So those people that are still saying net control, they're not to the newest version. They're still doing the old thing.
Right. So I'm thinking about not doing that with ours. The other thing I'm thinking about changing with ours is the way it's done right now with most nets is they'll say, I'm taking check-ins. Okay, K4RAB Rick, KO4 EFS Ian, KM4 OVZ Joseph. Okay, I got Ian, Rick, and Joseph taking more check-ins. Come now. That's how it's done now. Have you guys listened to the way Charlotte County does all their nets?
I haven't heard it, but
it's totally different, and I kind of like it. They come on and they say, all right, we take check-ins one at a time. We're now taking check-ins to the CC Flares net or whatever they're doing up there. We now take check-ins one at a time. We're going to start with CC level managers. Come now. And they'll go, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, da-da-da-da. Bob, got you. Did you have any announcements or anything like that? No, I don't have anything. Okay, Bob, thanks for checking in. Next check-in. And they literally do the first round as they're checking in. If that makes sense.
Makes sense, yeah.
And then the next person will call. This is Cam4 OBZ Joseph. Oh, hey Joseph, how are you doing tonight? Yeah, you got anything? No, I don't have anything. I just want to wish everybody this and that and the other thing. Okay, all right, man, hang around for the second round. And we basically do the first round and the check-ins at the same time. Then we can do it. This is another thing that they don't do it this way up there. I'm thinking about everybody does the announcements at the beginning of the end. Neither one makes sense. I think announcements should be done in the middle. I think we should take check-ins one at a time, have a short conversation with each person, see if they got any announcements, see if there's anything going on. Then in the middle, we do announcements. That way, when you come back for the second time through, you can react to the announcements that the team leaders had, or anybody had for that matter.
Yeah.
Does that not sound logical to you guys?
Yeah. Yeah. There may be a question that needs to be asked or a comment or something.
I mean, I know logic's not something we do a lot around here, but
that would be logic.
But yeah, I'm really thinking. So basically, you guys tell me what you think, because I'm thinking about doing it where we take check-ins one at a time. We do a quick back and forth with them. What's going on with you? Everything's good with me. I have nothing to report tonight. I got one quick announcement, and that's it. Okay, very good. We'll be back to you in a few minutes. And then you just go to the next person, and the next person, and the next person. And then when you finally, okay, is there any more check-ins? This also allows you to take check-ins by area, check-ins by function, check-ins by rank and title, check-ins by prefix or call. It gives you the ability to change up that way. So you can say, okay, I'm now taking net controller check-ins. Okay, this is K4RAB. Okay, K4, and I can check you, I can check Joseph, I can check whoever. Okay, we're now taking Skywarn spotter level people. Come now. And you take them. And then at the end, okay, now taking guests that are not signed up. Come now. And we can break up it into three so that it will kind of make that, I think, a little bit cleaner process as well. But we'll basically take one at a time, do the first check-in, do the check-in and the first round together, then do announcements, and then have the second round as the reaction to the announcements.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Well, you get more information through that way.
I think so, because we preload and postload the information.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? Anybody come now? I'm looking for everybody's opinion. You can say, I think that sucks. I think if you do that, it's going to cause wrecks on the interstate.
That idea sucks.
It sucks.
Should do my idea, which is to have everyone all key up at the exact same time. Say 3, 2, 1, go, and everybody checks in. It's like 20 transmissions all at the same time. Everyone at once. That's what you should do. It'll help you. It'll help you build up the skills to work through a pileup.
Well, I was just thinking we should just do it like a pileup. I'll do it like a pileup. I'll come on KO4 EFS QSL, and then
Well-
all you guys just shove your call letters all in there at the same time.
KO4EFS QRZ.
That would be funny.
Hey, what are you doing?
We'll literally work the net like a pileup every night.
Yeah.
Well, if you think, I don't know, I kind of like the net control blank. This is so and so and so, only because it helps avoid doubles. It still doesn't always eliminate them. It doesn't eliminate them. In fact, well, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. There's still a lot of doubles.
I will agree with you. It may help a little bit. But if there's only 10 of us checking in and we can do it, we get good at it. I don't know.
Depends on how big the net is. You know, because I know like up in Atlanta, instead of saying net control, we'd say this is. Well, it serves the same function, but you still have pileup sometimes. So I know one of the clubs up there said, okay, call sign suffix begin A through E, please come now, and so on. There's a lot of that out there. So that's another.
You know, you should just keep it simple. At least for now. At least for now, you're not going to have, you know, a ton of check-ins. So you should just say the process should be, all right, go with your check-ins. Wait a second to make sure you don't double over somebody, and then you just say, you know, you wouldn't say net control. You would just say KM4 OVZ Joseph in Buckingham, and then you let it go to the next person, and just keep it really simple like that. Because the net control thing doesn't really prevent all the doubles. It may help a little bit, but it doesn't really help a whole lot. And it also means that if someone hears a double, they can when they go for their turn, they can, you know, say, hey, y'all doubled, come again. So I think keeping it simple like that is the way to go. If you want to do regions, you could do it the same way, but for the bare bones procedure, it should just be KM4 OVZ, Joseph and Buckingham.
Yeah, simple.
Like just simple, as simple as possible.
Small numbers, yeah.
Yep. I'm definitely for keeping it simple, but I do also like first name in town as well as call sign. I do like that because when I was new, especially, it would remind me who people were. You know, I'd hear that call sign and I'm like, and then it's Rick in Fort Myers. And oh, okay, yeah, I remember him. You know, and so that kind of helps me. So I do like that, but I agree with you on keeping it simple, and that's what I'm looking to do is keep it as simple as possible. What else can you guys tell me? What else should we try to avoid, or is there anything that goes on nets now that drives you nuts? Anything on nets right now that you think should be changed? That if you were suddenly the ham king, if you were suddenly the amateur radio dictator.
I'm trying to think because I know there's some things, but trying to bring them up all of a sudden is a bit difficult. I don't know. I think it should just be you should do it like a roll call kind of.
Yes,
I don't know. Well, definitely avoid.
I had thought about a roll call. I thought about that, and I went through that, and I'm thinking, you know, within a year we're going to have 70 people on a list, and only 30 of them are going to be active, and a roll call will get real.
Hold on, I should. That's not even what I meant. Yeah, because that's a horrible idea. That is what I was exactly the opposite of what I'm saying.
It's an idea that I thought about actually, and I kind of blew it out because it was a horrible idea.
That's the opposite of I'm thinking to do the opposite. Don't call on 20 people who aren't going to answer.
Right.
I like so like for the structure of the net, you're going to take the check-ins, and then are you going to do a part 2?
Yeah, what we would do, what I was thinking, and of course this is open for debate, of course, but what I was thinking was we do the first part like Charlotte County, where we take check-ins one at a time, and what we basically would do is I'll take the check-ins from whatever level first, whatever group second, whatever group third, whatever group four. I take those in the order that I want to take them in. And what I'll do is I'll say, okay, I'm taking net controllers now. Anybody who's a net controller can call in now. And you would say, Joseph, KM4 OVZ. And I go, KM4 OVZ, Joseph, Good evening tonight. How are you doing? Did you have any announcements or anything for the net tonight? Nope, just along for the ride. Okay, Joseph, stand by. We'll be back to you on the second round. All right, next check-in from net controller level. This is Rick, K4RAB. Hey, Rick, how are you tonight? Hey, I got an announcement to make, and I just want to let everybody know, don't forget the swap shops next weekend. Okay, very good. You know, and basically you're doing kind of the check-ins and the first round at the same time. And you're killing two birds with one stone. So once I get everybody checked in, I've also already done the first round, and I've kind of gotten out there what everybody wants to accomplish tonight. Then we go to the announcements in the middle. With the announcements in the middle, we can both react to what we heard in the first half, make our announcements, and then hear the reaction to those announcements in the second half. It allows us to have the communication on both ends. So then we get to the announcements. Okay, KO4EFS, I have two announcements. Number one, let you guys know the new alerting system starting this week. We're going to be doing this and that and the other thing. And the second thing I wanted to announce was this and this and this. Okay, very good. And who else? Joseph, you had one announcement. Let's go to you. Rick, you had one announcement. Let's go to you. We get those announcements. Then I go, let's go back to the top of the list to do our second round of check-ins and see how everybody's doing tonight. Tell us what's up at your shack. And then we do basically a comments version like they do on the traffic net in the morning, where we go down and get everybody's, what are they doing in the shack today? How's things going? Do you have any questions about what you've heard in the announcements part? I really hate nets when the announcements are at the beginning, because he'll make an announcement and it's like, had I been able to talk first, you might have heard me say this and that, and it might have changed. You could have explained that in the announcements better.
Mhm.
Conversely, I know of two other ones where they do the announcements after the check-ins, and then if you got to say something after that, you have to do a recheck. I like the fact that we come to everybody after the announcements. Gives you a great opportunity to ask, hey, on that one announcement, you said that new alert thing starts today. Is that the new one where it's going to send it to my phone? And you can ask questions that you have about those announcements. And then we can end it out, do rechecks at the end or whatever. But that's kind of how I know it's a little different, but I've literally taken the best thing I like of all the different nets and moshed it up into one. And I literally, this is like 1/3 CC Flares net, 1/3 Lee County Aries net, and 1/3 NTS traffic net, and I've smashed it all together. And I figured and you know what else is
That's
great?
good.
We can give it a try for 3 or 4 weeks, and then we can change it. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's not working. It'll be in a state of flux too. All right. Well, does anybody have anything else on the net stuff? Any questions or comments about amateur radio nets and how they work? Frustrations you may have.
I have frustrations with my net control. There's always something going on. What's ideal?
Sometimes they get into chaos. And it gets
That's the only time it's actually fun to listen into a lot of the radio nets is when something goes wrong.
I know it was bad. The first couple times they tried to do the club net on the connected repeater system.
Oh.
They were not calling it per repeater. So what you would end up with is somebody on each tower site would key up, and you would hear 4 people talking at one time, and they were all going across the link. So you would end up hearing like 4 different people checking in at the same time, and then the net controllers would you would hear this guy louder than this guy, but the net controller actually heard it the other way around because he's on a different one, and all the volume levels were different. They've come a long way. They've got it going pretty
Welcome
good
to the
now.
Lee County CF net.
Yeah. Well, and I don't want to disparage. I think they're doing good with a lot of it. There's a lot to do there. There's a lot that can go wrong there too. So it is what it is.
It's crazy.
Charlotte County connects all their stuff together, and when they do their CC Flares net, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's not just Lee County. Everybody has the same issue.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
And I'll tell you guys something that's going on right now. We can talk about this for a few minutes. Charlotte, or there's a situation going on in the NI4CE that I don't know if you guys are aware of. but there's a heckler on there right now. And
Okay, that's not that new. That's actually been going on for a while. There's one or two stations that are hecklers.
yeah,
I've heard that for a while.
they do the old lady voice, and it's hilarious. I don't want to.
And they got the whistle.
Yes, they whistle when they talk. And like, hello.
They've been heard. I've heard them on SARNet a few times too.
Oh, really? I haven't heard them on there. But I got NI4CE pulled up here because I'm streaming it now, and so I'll hear them on there, and it is funny. I know they're hecklers and they're assholes or whatever, but I got to admit sometimes it's kind of funny, and nobody will react to him because they're
Oh, they're so perfect. They gotta.
Well,
they
the
gotta.
only way, truthfully, guys, the only way you can ever get it to stop is to ignore it.
Well, it's been going on for more than a year, so
Yeah, but I don't think this is going to stop. I think this is going to just go on forever.
yeah.
But yeah,
That was kind of funny because the Miami repeater had a humongous problem for a while with jammers.
Really?
Oh, it was horrible. They shut the repeater down completely for a while. They went to DMR, they went to digital, they tried all kind of things to get it to stop. And it turned out that it was more or less one particular character who was a licensed ham, and he was a member of the community. But every time he got on, then that's when the jamming and the heckling would start. So they had to tell him, because he would get on and he would get to drinking and then late at night, and he would go for hour-long rants about just some of his rants were pretty funny, but it was really amusing to listen to, but it also attracted a lot of the bad stuff that made the repeater unusable. So there was that. And so after I went to the NI4CE, I was kind of surprised to hear some of the same stuff going on there, but it's a big system. That's what you get when you have a big footprint. SARNet doesn't have that problem, at least not as bad, because they are very mean there. You do one tiny thing out of line and they'll call you out on it. So they're a lot more, if you start heckling on SARNet, they'll shut the node off in about 5 minutes.
they're a little closer. They're a little closer to enforcement, and they're a lot closer to direct control over the repeaters. They literally have people that can dial in and turn those things on and off. So, wait a minute, it's going on right now on the NI4CE. They're doing that whistle thing that they do, where what they're doing is they're taking two radios and they're going.
They're having feedback loops.
Yeah. And they're literally on there right now doing it. I can see it.
That's funny.
I just heard bleedoo, bleedoo, and I looked up there and it's on NI4CE Tampa.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have that on
We
big
don't
systems.
get a lot of that down here. I got to admit, we don't get a whole lot.
No. I was the only one doing anything like that at the time. So.
Doing things like that.
Oh, I was nowhere near.
I heckle, but I give my call sign, so I don't care.
Oh yeah, if you're gonna heckle, you gotta put the call sign out there, man. Let them show up at your door.
I just heckle and give the call sign. That way, I'm legal.
Legal heckler.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do? Show up at my door?
This is K4RAB heckling.
Well, you know what's funny, and this is kind of weird. I have been cautioned so many times on ham radio that what I'm saying is inappropriate, and it makes me laugh because people have no idea what's appropriate and what's inappropriate.
They also don't know the legal side either.
And I don't mean to sound like a jerk here, but there's probably nobody on this net that knows more about what you can get away with saying on the radio and what you can't than I do.
Yeah, really.
I literally make a living knowing exactly where that line is in the sand.
What you can get away with and what you can't.
You know, I routinely call the president of the United States an ignorant bastard on the radio. I know exactly what I can get away with and what I can't get away with. Trust me, I do. And I get 100,000 people listening to our show. So during the 5 o'clock hour. So it
Is
does
that
bug
all
me.
you call him?
Well, yeah. Yeah, the latest book that just came out, we're almost a 12 share.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
We're hearing somebody's really loud. I don't know.
Somebody
the
should be
background.
muted.
Oh, it's probably me. Sorry, I got people in here because I have no privacy in this tiny house. Can't do anything, man. Oh, are we doing like? I don't want to interrupt or anything, but I have some show and tell. But I'll wait, I guess, until we do that. And when we do it now?
No, we can do show and tell. We'll do it in just 1 second. I just want to finish my thoughts.
Okay.
Just so you guys know, all this stuff about what you can and can't do on amateur radio, the truth is you can't be vulgar. That's it. We don't use the S word and the F word on the radio. We don't use the C word, of course. We should never use that one. But there's really not a lot of rules. It's like I dump somebody when they say the S word, the F word, or the C word, and that's it. You know, when George Carlin was alive, we couldn't say a lot of things that we say now on the radio.
Yeah, I know.
There used to be the 7 big words. There's
Yeah.
only 3 now. There's only 3. We can say the rest of them. And I think that's where people get misunderstood with amateur radio. Oh, I can't say that on amateur radio. You'll get in more trouble talking about what size plumbing part you need for that job tomorrow. If 2 plumbers that have a license talk about what size pipes are being used tomorrow on the job, it's a crime. You can't do that.
Yeah,
that's a big no-no. But you can pick up the amateur radio and say, I'm pissed off. That's not a violation of the law. People just gotta just take it in stride. Things are changing. Go along with the ride. Get on the bus, put on the headphones, and ride.
Get down on the great big world of sound.
That's right.
Breaking it down.
Yeah.
And like I tell people, if bad words offend you, you're going to have a really hard time in the future. What I strongly suggest is that you change the way you think about those words. They're only bad words if you think they're bad words.
That's right. Because they're going to be used anyway.
They're going to use them anyway. Telling you, you guys don't know my mouth. I cuss like a when Trey Radel and I and the guys are all up at the station an hour before the show talking about the douchebag president. Do you know? We're in there it's like it sounds like a sailors convention. And I think shut that stuff right off to go on the radio. It's amazing. It is what it is, dude. You know?
But that's mild what you call the president.
Look, I am surprised that there's not like black vehicles sitting out in front of our work. I'm surprised they haven't rented a room over at the Oasis so they could pick us off coming out of the side door. Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm very surprised at what I'm allowed to say in this country. And I got to tell you guys, the First Amendment, the Bill of Rights, when I say that, it should give you chills. When I say that we live in the best country in the world, and the reason it's the best country in the world is because of the Bill of Rights, because of the First and the Second and the Fourth and the Fifth Amendments. There can be nothing more important than that. And the fact that I can go on a radio in front of 100,000 people and call our president a bastard, let me tell you something. That's what makes this country the best country in the world.
Try doing that in Iran or in China or Russia.
Try doing that on 50% of the countries on this planet.
Yeah.
And it will not go well. That is why it's so important that we fight for these rights and we not worry about someone saying a bad word or worry about someone criticizing or worrying about someone saying that the VAX is FAKE. Because if I said what I just said on YouTube, they would ban me off of there.
Yeah.
They're stifling our free speech every day on YouTube. I don't care if you like the president or you hate the president. You have the right to say what you think about him. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter what you think about him. It doesn't matter what I think about the president. What matters is that I can tell you what I think about the president.
Yeah.
That's what's important. It's that First Amendment right, the right to free speech. It's so important. And when I have to spell words out on here, like MURDERGUNSHOOTING,
yeah.
All 3 of those words will set off alarms at YouTube and get me banned. This TechNet can get banned because one of you guys uttered the words, you know, that VAX is FAKE. I personally don't think it works well, but it's not FAKE. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But by just saying something like that, you can get banned off of Facebook. That is wrong. That is
Yeah, I think it's
wrong.
wrong too.
That has to be fixed. We can never, never, never let them draw a line on our free speech.
Yeah.
So just
Well,
be
Dan
careful.
Bongino is wearing that as a code of honor now, being banned off of Facebook.
The day that Facebook banned our president, I left Facebook. Doesn't matter whether I like Trump or hated Trump. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If they banned Joe Biden off of YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, I would have left their service too.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what president or what my opinion is or what side I'm on.
Yeah.
Both sides
have
to fight for the First Amendment or both sides lose. It's that simple. And so I didn't mean to get on a rant tonight, but I don't know if you guys noticed, we no longer broadcast our show on YouTube. We did it for about 6 months. People loved it. We were getting thousands of views, tens of thousands of views every now and then on videos. We were doing great on YouTube. They kept banning our videos one after another. They were banning our videos because of the background music that was playing in a roofing ad.
Oh my God.
They banned our videos because some caller said, you know, that VACCINE is FAKE.
Yeah.
He said that. That's a caller's opinion. It's an opinion show.
Yeah. Well, Soviet YouTube doesn't understand that. So.
And that should scare us a little bit, folks.
Yeah.
That should scare us that YouTube, which is now the biggest media medium in the world. Think about it. No one has more viewers every second of every day than YouTube. And when they can control those algorithms and they can ban you and they can algorithmically limit Joseph and they can flag Rick and they can limit my viewership and they can take away Jonathan's subscribers, let me tell you what, that's all it takes to ruin you on the biggest platform in the world.
Yeah.
Is that power over you? Hell yes. That's way more power than any corporation or any business or any government should ever have over a free citizen of the United States.
You got that right.
So all I'm telling you guys is next time you start bitching about, oh, they're using those bad words or, oh, they're saying things they shouldn't say, or I don't like when they call, I don't like what he says. He had sex. And whatever you don't like, when you don't like it, just remember that because you don't like it, okay, but one day someone's going to ban something that you do like. And then all of a sudden it is going to be a problem. And so that's all I'm saying. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox now. Well, let's go to Joseph now for show and tell.
What you got?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for show and tell.
Woo! All right, I got some cool things. So, today actually, I was going through some stuff, some boxes from when we moved originally, and my mom's grandfather was a ham. He was W4Z. Hold on. W4ZWE, I believe was his call sign. And he was a big time ham. Like my mom has stories about when she was a little girl, you know, the field out behind the house had all these radials in the ground and everything. And anyway, so we inherited a bunch of his stuff. I mean, when he died, a lot of his closer ham friends got most of like the big stuff. But we got some things when they cleaned out the house. And one of them was my Kenwood TR7400A, which I've showed a lot of times on here. It's the one I did the blue backlight on the S meter. It's the one I had Bob in Fort Myers repair for me because the finals died. So I've had that for a while. But today we're going through more stuff and we found two cool things that I had no idea were there. I thought we'd already found everything. So the first thing is this right here. This is a 2 meter rig. It's a Kenwood TR7850. It's a 2-meter radio. It has tone encoder built in and everything. So this is another 2-meter radio. But it's really cool. It's got a nice little clicky
You've already
wheel
got one
here.
kind of like that, don't you?
Yeah, well, I
Put
have the
foam board in.
yeah, I have the 7400A. That's this one here.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, this one is probably a little bit newer. Well, it's definitely newer. This is like the 7400 is a lot older. It's probably like a 70s model. This to me looks more like an 80s rig. I haven't looked it up on Universal Radio yet, but it has memories. It has direct frequency entry. It has a tone button on it. Not sure how you select your tone, but yeah, it's got some really cool things, and I love these little S meters. It's like an LED. It's probably green with red at the end.
Yeah,
it's like a little.
I remember those.
It's super cool. One thing is missing.
I've always loved the bump and
I
LEDs.
know it has that. I
Always
thought it
loved
was
that.
missing something, but it's not. Okay, it actually has a power jack on the back. I thought it was missing that, but this is a cool radio. I don't know how much power it does.
What it's missing is what it's missing.
Well, it says 9 amp. Oh, I just broke a piece off of the little foot broke off.
You're violent, man.
I know, man. This is just terrible. It says 9 amps for power consumption, so that makes me believe it's probably about 50 watts, which is cool. So that was a cool find.
Yeah.
Oh, and I also got a bag. I got a bag of a bunch of cables, which probably has the power cable for this, and it has another Kenwood microphone. And I really like those Kenwood mics you get with your radios. Those are so cool. I like those. So I got that. That was cool. And another thing I got was this thing here, which is a power amplifier for 2 meter.
Oh,
so I already have a 100 watt UHF amplifier, and now I have an 80 watt 2 meter amplifier. And I want to rant a little bit for a second, because all these amplifiers, the one I bought for UHF and this one included, they are always, no matter what brand they're from, they have the absolute worst markings on them. This says Lunar Electronics, and then at the bottom it just says solid state linear amplifier, and then you have your switches and everything. Doesn't say the output power, doesn't say anything except for Lunar Electronics. If you go on the back, it has a model number, and it says 2M10-80P, which apparently means 10 watts in, 80 watts out. But it doesn't say, there's no model number on the front. And I tried looking this thing up, and you get a couple listings for very similar ones, but they have like slightly different switches on the front, slightly different, different generation or whatever. So for some reason, VHF and UHF amplifiers have the worst branding out of like all the ham equipment I've ever seen, and I have no idea why. Like this amplifier I literally cannot find a manual for it, because when you search what it says on the front, it says D1010. It's a Mirage D1010. You look that up and you get like 4 different models, but not that one.
Oh wow.
It's just bizarre. I don't know why they're so bad.
Well, it may be that they were being made by smaller companies, probably, and it just
Mirage isn't exactly small. That was a fairly decent. That was quite frequently seen brand in those days. I haven't seen one lately, but
sure it wasn't just a Mirage.
Yes.
that's a French fighter jet.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just because there's not a huge market for these things. I mean, most people will just buy the radio, but these are probably lesser manufactured, so I don't know. But even when looking at other brands and models, they all have the same issue, it seems, for whatever reason. But that was the physical side of things that was cool today. The other thing I want to show, let me screen share here, something I've been working on for a while. I'm actually running this in a virtual machine because this software doesn't work on Linux. So this is some 3D modeling software. It's called Design Spark Mechanical, and there's a lot of other software that does the same thing. But you can design stuff in 3D in here. And if we look at, if I bring up the file browser here, I go to VirtualBox Shared. We should be able to get some pictures of what exactly I'm trying to make.
Like oh, okay. I was going to say, it looks like you're making a bracket to hold your needle on your record player.
How you got there from that thing?
I thought it was some type of something to do with a semi-automatic pistol or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna 3D print parts to make a pistol full automatic.
Yeah.
No, this is like a sci-fi rover kind of Mars rover design thing. It's actually from a TV show called Lost in Space, I think. But I really like the design.
Second rendition of Lost in Space, yeah.
I guess it's on Netflix or something. But I found the design online. I was like, hey, so I researched it some more, and I'm gonna try and make a radio control version, a 1/10 scale, which would be as big as this truck here behind me. You can see that is pretty big. So I'm gonna try and make a 1/10 scale model of this thing that's like got working lights and all that stuff.
One question here: what if you have a flat tire on Mars?
I would assume you would not. You'd probably put solid tires or something.
You
But
think
I did
Triple A
this.
takes a long time to get up on the interstate.
Yeah, it sure does.
No exits around anywhere.
That's
But,
actually, I think they called those chariots, and that
Yes.
was actually the one off of the Jupiter 2.
Yes, that's all. Most of them say J2 on the side. So the way you do this, I had to take. They sell the 3D model. Like you can buy the actual 3D model directly from them, but they want $750 for it. And it's one of those things where you don't actually own what you're buying. That have been come all the rage lately. So that's out of the
kiss my
question.
rear end.
Yeah, it's $750. You don't actually get to download the file, so that's useless. So what I actually did was I found some technical drawings here with actual measurements.
That don't even sound right. That's like sex with a girl, but you're not going to her house. It's just
Yeah,
not
pretty
near
much.
as fun, dude.
It's really, really, really dumb. There's a lot of that. It's weird. It's they're called NFTs, I think. I'm sure y'all will discuss them at some point on the Trey Radel show. But what I had to do here was find the technical drawings. And so you take one, like this thing is two-dimensional, right? So you have to go into two-dimensional mode, and you go in here, and you essentially have to trace the lines and make lines in the program, and then you extrude the lines out into a three-dimensional object, and then you go behind it, or in this case, I went in front of it, trace these lines. You see the blue here. I traced these lines, and then you extrude it out the back way. So now I have a shell kind of thing. And this software is really cool for designing radio parts, because if you have something broken, like I have a radio that's got a back plate that's cracked and there's a hole in it. You can take a pair of calipers and measure, get all your dimensions, and then come in here and design a replacement part. And if you have a 3D printer, which they're not expensive nowadays at all, you can get a 3D printer for like $100. They're great. You can, you can 3D print a new part. And there, I just rounded that edge on that thing. And you can 3D print new parts for radio. So this is just cool stuff. It's called CAD software. And it's very powerful stuff. There's a lot of people who do this as a job, like they model things in here. But anyway, I thought this was cool. I'm trying to make a radio control version. Here's the top-down view of this thing. Let me rotate it here. There's the top-down view. This version has like a trailer behind it, but it's a pretty cool machine. And I'm gonna make a radio control version. I'm gonna make it as scale as possible. Like every detail has to be right, because there's so many. Like I saw like somebody made a copy of it, but it was like wrong. No one wants to follow the details, so I have to do it, I guess. I don't know. I thought it's cool. I'm gonna upload this later to Thingiverse, which is a place where you can put 3D files and stuff up for free. So I'm gonna do that because yeah, they want $750. Fine, I'll make my own. Anyway, I just thought that was cool. So there you go.
That is very cool. I love the 3D printing thing. I got to be honest with you though, I'm just not. I've yet to find a reason why I need one. But it's one of those things that eventually, as the price of it comes down, and the need goes up, and the ability goes up, it'll be something that that it'd be worth getting.
It's kind of like the microwave oven of 30 years ago. You couldn't
Right.
figure out what you needed them for, and now you don't want to do without it.
Right.
Like for example, this thing I have here, is a UHF radio transmitter, operates on 433 megahertz. And when you buy this, they're designed to go in a remote controller. It's called a JR module. So they're a module you buy, and you're supposed to stick it into a port on the back of your radio transmitter. Of course, I have a cheap radio transmitter which doesn't have that port on the back. So with a 3D printer, I can take my measurements, and I built this thing. It's just like a 3D printed bay, and it's got the wires in there, got all the little mounting brackets and everything. Literally just printed a bay for this thing, and it just slides right in there. It clicks in, and there you go. You can stick this on whatever you want.
Very
So
nice.
for maybe someone, if you like building things from scratch, which is what I have to do a lot of because there's products don't exist for what I try to do all the time. 3D printer is like a must-have thing, and they're so cheap now. The one we got is the Creality Ender 3. I think it was $160. I'm not sure. It's probably gone up now because of all the stuff going on. But the filament is cheap. You get a whole spool of it. It's like $20 for a spool, and you can make like 500 of these things with one spool. So it's not that expensive now, and it's just super useful. So really like the 3D printer. I've 3D printed a bunch of stuff for the ham radio. I don't think I haven't done a belt clip yet, but I've done a lot of stuff. So yeah, great thing.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out why we can't feed beef and cheese into that thing and make tacos with it. I mean,
People have tried that.
Tacos.
Somebody did that with chocolate. You can actually buy a chocolate printer, and so the filament is like this special kind of chocolate, and you can like.
There you go.
It's coming.
It's pretty cool.
That'd be great. That you could print offensive chocolate bars all day long. That's what you wanted to do. You could make them in all crazy shapes.
And you can create these files and send them over the internet so somebody a few hundred miles away can do the same thing,
Oh yeah. That's what the Thingiverse website is. People upload their 3D printable files. Like I wanted to build an anemometer, like a wind speed sensor, you can just go on there, search up anemometer, boom, and you can print out the cups. And it's someone's already made it. Like if there's something you want, there's chances are you can already find someone's made it, and it's available for free, and you just download the file, upload it to the printer, start printing. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds so cool. Well,
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I guess I can show you guys what I'm working on tomorrow. Let's see here. I'll just share my screen. Why not? Here's what I bought today. I bought another UPS.
Okay.
This is a smaller one than the other one that Joseph bought, but this one here is going to be good. All I'm running on this is 2 security systems, and that's it. And then I bought another 50-foot cable. That's so that I can keep my 6-meter beam and my 2-meter beams and all my bull crap all hooked up at the same time, and then just switch it on my switcher here. Before I had to go up and change wires and stuff, but I'm sick of that. So I bought one wire the other day. I bought another one now. So when I move my tower over, everything will have brand new wires coming down, and they'll all be long enough to go in without any problem. I bought that so I can split my security camera. I bought a brand new security system. I'm going to get to that in just a minute. Remember we talked the other day about extending USBs? Well, you can do the same thing with HDMIs. Notice this right here. It's a 100-foot HDMI cable.
Damn.
What?
It's a 100-foot HDMI cable, and it has the extender booster thing that comes with it.
Oh, yeah.
The booster actually goes on the receiving end and plugs into the power supply on the back of your TV. And it actually takes the signal coming through the wire and boosts it back up to where it works for the TV. So I got this because I'm putting the security system out here in my shack, but I want to have high def on my 50-inch TV in my room. We actually have a 60-inch and then a 50-inch hanging directly underneath it. And I have the security cameras on the 50. Well, I don't want to run. They're in like medium def right now. My old cameras, and they suck. I want them in full 3000K. So this way, with my new security system, I'm going to have the 3000K in here on this 32 up here, and I'm also going to have it in my room on my 50 through that splitter. I also bought this. These are Cat 6 outdoor. They're double jacketed outdoor Ethernet cables.
Oh, wow.
I bought 5 of those so that I can run cameras clear underneath my house and flat over to the other side of my property.
Yeah.
My cameras I'm getting this system right here. They are, let me tell you guys, if you're ever going to buy a security system, listen to what I'm about to say. There's 2 fundamental types of security systems. There's analog and there's digital.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you guys where it really comes in is where it really comes in is where you get what they call PoE.
Oh yeah.
When you guys see the term PoE, that is power over IP wire.
Power over Ethernet, right?
Power over Ethernet, exactly. So it's basically your power runs through your Ethernet connection.
Yeah.
So
you can do that with the Raspberry Pi 4 too, by the way.
Oh, cool. I did not know.
Wait, really? That's built into the Pi?
Not built into the Pi. You can get it's a hat that goes on top of it.
Oh,
It'll
right.
It'll do power over Ethernet. So you can put your Pi at a remote location and power it through the Ethernet.
Right. Okay.
So I bought this system here. On this system, notice how big the lenses are? They've got nice big lenses. They collect lots of light. They're going to be really good. Nice wide fish angle lens. Comes with a 2 terabyte hard drive. I've got a second 2 terabyte hard drive I'm going to drop in it. Should last about 12 days or so on full high def for all 8 cameras. But
You
this
get
is
the
one
4 camera or the 8 camera model?
Oh no, I got the 8. I definitely got the 8. I'm gonna have 3 cameras on the front of the house, 2 cameras out on my tower in the back, 1 on the tower cam 40 feet up on top of my tower on the mast, 1 along my back fence, 1 along my side fence, and 1 up through the middle of the property.
It's gonna look like you're running a prison camp over there.
Yep. I've also put up 4 big lights in my yard recently too.
Oh man.
These scumbags like to walk around here at 3 o'clock in the morning looking around. Yeah, they better hope the dog gets them before I get the gun out of the lockbox.
There you go.
Anyway, but yeah, I just to show you guys what I'm working on this weekend. This is what I'm working on, and I'm going to be basically the hell.
What was that?
Something just hit the roof. And since there's no tree up there anymore, I don't know what the hell it would have been.
Uh-oh. Acorn.
It's a meteorite.
Meteorite.
Yeah.
It's an asteroid.
So anyway, that's what I'm doing tomorrow is I am literally installing that camera system. I'm moving my tower over to the shack. I'm and over the course of Saturday and Sunday. Now, of course, my van gas tank is now leaking, so I'm going to have to fix that at some point too. My wife was driving to pick me up tonight, ran over a piece of metal that fell off a truck right in front of her, and it ruined my van. It's leaking gas and everything. I don't know, so I got to go figure out where it's leaking and how I'm going to fix that tomorrow.
Duct tape.
Chewing gum.
Yeah.
You know what? We've got the money to get a new car, not a new car. We're going to buy a better car, but we wanted to do it slowly so we could take our time and find the right car. So I really need to get this back on the road for 3 or 4 weeks. You know, when you can make important decisions over the course of time, you make better decisions.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We agreed with this, like this security system. I looked at these for 2 weeks. We've had this money for weeks now. And I just now ordered it 2 days ago because I wanted to make sure that I'm getting the exact right one. You know, it's important to me. The only other thing I want to talk to you guys about real quick, and then we're going to let it go, because I still need to go out and look at the damage on my van. I haven't even seen
Yeah,
what's
you
going
gotta
on
take
out
care
there.
of that.
But anyway, as far as this goes, I wanted to mention to you guys that Solar Cycle 25 is getting off to a much higher than normal start. If you can see here on this graph, the red line here, that's the actual forecast.
Yeah.
The black line is where we're actually at. That's where we've actually been.
Yeah, it's going way above that.
But here's the thing. Do you think that means we're going to have a busier than normal solar cycle? Well, I thought that too, but it might not necessarily be the case. Here's why. That dotted red line is last time compared to this time. Solar cycle 24 did the exact same thing leading into it. Got really high up on the beginning of the curve, and it ended up not being a particularly strong solar cycle. So all I'm saying here is just because the line looks like this last time and it looks about like that this time doesn't necessarily mean this is going to be a busy year, because last time wasn't. The last solar cycle wasn't that busy. So I just thought I'd put that out there. It's just kind of an interesting phenomenon that's going on right now, that we're definitely busier than we should be, but they were busier than they should have been last time too, and it didn't necessarily equate to a crazy
To a better situation, yeah.
Yeah, so that's just, wanted to put that out there. I've been watching it. Well, you guys know, I just looked at this. Let me give you the latest numbers. These numbers you're looking at are from this morning. The latest numbers, the solar flux is up to 130, so we're up 3 points. The K is still a 4, which means that we are active. Anytime this K directly affects the geomagnetic field. So anytime we go from a 3 to a 4 to a 5, we get into a major storm. We get down to a 0 or a 1, the geomagnetic field is quiet. Notice we've got high latitude auroras. We've got an active geomagnetic field. So look what's happened, where our bands are kind of scattered out a little bit right now. Not real good. But I look over and I do still see some activity over here. 30 has finally just died, so I'm going to go up to 40 now. And it looks like 40 is still pretty active. 40, as you know, stays active all night.
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah. 20 is definitely the go-to day band, and 40 is the go-to night band. All right. Anyway, I got a great explanation of all these numbers on the TechNet newsletter that just came out, so you can read that. This will explain how those numbers equate to your radio working. Okay, no big freezes coming up this week. A little bit of a cool down, but not too bad. No big freezes again. No
We're not
swap
going to be
shops
running
this
around like
week.
penguins.
Yeah, exactly. No swap shop this week, but get ready, because next week we're back into our normal schedule. So the swap shop is 8 days, 8 days from today. Something new to try if you have not tried the Loggerhead net. This would be another one I would try. Alex, WA4WDV, runs this net every single week, and it's run from Sanibel. It's a great opportunity to test your 2-meter beam, because this one's a little bit more difficult to hit than, say, the 625 or something like the 685 or the one down there in Estero. This one's a little harder sometimes because it's way out on Sanibel. I went ahead and put the coordinates in so you can get your beam aimed right. Yeah. I can get them on the vertical, but if I use my dual beams, it's crystal clear, like I'm sitting on Sanibel with
Yeah, in your full quieting.
Yeah. So, but I hope to hear some of you guys. This is a good net, and you try to get it. Give you a little bit of a a challenge there. There's some interesting stories in here. Starting to see everywhere, they're starting to realize that if we don't start getting younger people into this, there ain't gonna be nobody to talk to by the time I get up in my 70s. But anyway, there's an AM rally. I like AM. I don't know why. I guess because it's vintage. It's the kind of the original band, and I thought this was kind of cool. There's actually going to hold a AM rally this weekend, and the information's there, and you can get them on 50.400 on AM. So I thought that might be something cool to try this weekend. See if we can hear them. When that wire comes in tomorrow, I'm going to move my antenna over and I'm going to have my 6-meter beam up. So I may dial them in and see if I can get them. And there's a special event station right now being held at the Lincoln Historic Site. You can check that out. There's information on their QRZ page. Did you guys know the origins of 7.3? This is one. I had to read about this one a while back because I had no idea. Like, where the hell does that number come from? Well, it's pretty cool because there's actually a whole story behind it. It started way back in wired telegraph communications when they started realizing, hey, I tell this guy the same thing like 50 times a day. So we just made up a code, da 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 da, or whatever, and that means this. And that's how it started. This was actually the precursor to a lot of other things like police code that you hear on the radio today. There's a real good chance that this came before police code was ever used on a radio because this was before radio. So this was probably literally what started 10 codes, if you think about it. Q codes, 10 codes, signal codes, status codes, code codes. This is probably what started it all right here is the Western Union 92 code was what it was called. And this is it right here. And it was basically published back in 1859 as a shortcut method for teletype operators. And back then, 73 actually meant best regards. Or in a lot of circles, it meant like hugs and love and flowers and all kinds of good stuff.
88.
Yeah, and then 88 is loves and kisses. You do still hear that. I haven't, but I hear from what I read today doing the research for this that you actually that's still used every now and then on the CV. Most of these other ones, obviously, we don't use, but that's where 7.3 comes from, guys. It's from the old 92 code, which is the old wired telegraph code from the 1800s. So to say this is steeped in history would be an understatement. But there's a great story in here. If you want to take the time to read it, it's in the latest edition. All right, as far as my funny boners this week, the first one comes from what's that show? What was that show? Millionaire. What does it take to be a millionaire?
Oh, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah, that one. Well, the question was, did you buy another radio? And he's got 4 chances for his answer there. It was an accident. I had that for a long time already. I got a deal on it, or you look very pretty today. Me, I would be, can I phone a friend? Because
Can I have my phone call, please?
Fart on the right. Back in my day, we had to walk into the FCC office uphill in 20 feet of snow and do 20 words per minute before the FCC and build our radios out of old TV parts.
Yeah, I think I checked in with him on the traffic net this morning. But
he looks like he's ready to bite your head off.
Yeah, that one in the middle is me, by the way. Anyway, I thought all that was funny. And of course, here you go. There's your social distancing for ham radio.
2 meters.
Ladies and gentlemen, we need to social distance 2 meters. Or one bandwidth.
Yes.
And radio events, there's nothing really big this weekend, but next weekend is the Orlando Hamcation, and the following weekend is the Highlands County Amateur Radio Club annual Ham Fest. So there you go. Yep, that's not that far.
No,
Guys, Sebring is not that far. It's like an hour and a half, and you're there. It's right up there. There's like 3 ways to get there. I suggest going up 17 to 70 and come back 27 to 29 to 74. And that way you get to see some really cool parts of the state of Florida. Contest this weekend. There's the Vermont QSO party. Oh, there. Can you hear it? It's the NI4CE. It's going on and on.
That must be his idea of music.
Guys, I'm one of these people that I hate it, but I laugh. Anyway, I can't help it. All right, so there's the Vermont QSO party. The 1010 International, you know, I was actually going to join this club, and they want like money, like a lot of money or something. It was like, I was like, no. But I don't know if you can. I think you can do it if you're not a member though, because it says non-members you can still participate. But that's only on 10 meters, and it's single sideband only. The Minnesota QSO party is this weekend. The British Columbia QSO party is this weekend.
Really?
The European DX contest, European Union DX contest is this weekend. So there's going to be a lot of traffic out there. Maybe you can make some contacts. Most of these seem fairly simple exchanges. I don't know.
There's one that's getting on and saying CQFOC, CQFOC. And I thought, what the heck is that?
FOC?
Yeah. That sounds like something they want to do to Joe Biden.
Yeah. Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one. I mean, I know they use CQ contest, they'll use CQ sweeps if it's sweepstakes.
Yeah.
They'll see CQ field day, CQ field day.
WFD or
yeah. So, but I don't know. I don't know what that one is. I love these people that it's 3 a.m. It's FT8. There's only about 10 people in the whole world on the channel. And some guy in Nebraska is calling like CQ West Virginia.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, good luck, dude. Good luck. Why don't you go ahead and call Bosnia Herzegovina while you're at it? See if you can
or
get
North
there.
Korea.
Yeah, CQNK. I don't know. Anyway. All right. Does anybody have anything else? Anything else? I can't believe I went almost 3 hours. I got to go see how bad the damage is to my van.
Yeah, let's hope that's not too severe, but that sounds scary.
Dude, you're gonna that sounds pretty bad. I don't think you can patch that easily because it's gasoline.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to have a gas tank.
If you're gonna get a new vehicle, if you want my recommendation on vehicles to get yourself a used 01 to like 05 Chevy Tahoe or Suburban. They're not too expensive, and those things are like I drive one. They're like tanks. Those things will last you forever.
Yeah.
The one we had for like 10, 20 years now, almost 20 years.
Something else you might do if the gas tank is punctured, you might want to check with the junkyards and see if they got a similar car there that you can take that gas tank off, because those gas tanks are expensive.
There's 6 of these over at the junkyard, and I'm sure at least one of them's got the fuel tank still in it. I'm hoping I don't have to drop a fuel tank and switch it out. I really don't want to do that. We'll probably just take it somewhere and get it fixed.
Yeah.
So at least she made it back home, and they put a pan under it, and I think we've captured a bunch of the gas.
Is it what gas costs these days? You can't afford to be just drilling it out on the
Filled it up
street.
today.
Yeah.
Just filled it up today, and it's all leaking out of my yard.
Oh man. Man, what a weird thing to happen. That's not very common. You don't usually destroy a gas tank, man. That's
this damn golden gas we got these days. You can't afford that.
Well, it looks to me like it's punctured maybe the fuel line.
Yeah.
Oh, hopefully it's that.
That'd be better than the tank.
Yeah. Either way, yeah, my uncle owns an automotive shop over on Palm Beach, Martin's Garage. So I'm just gonna have it brought over there, and if nothing else, he'll fix it for me Monday. Ain't no big deal. Oh well. All right. Does anybody have anything else?
I can't think of anything else. I'm gonna try to get the hex beam up this weekend.
Get pictures. I want to see.
Oh, I'm gonna make pictures all along the way.
Good, and I want to see it, and then hopefully I'll be putting mine up in a month or so.
Yeah.
We're gonna do all the stuff we have to do first, but I've already told Mama that's on the list, so I really want that. I'm gonna get. I'm asking for a few things. I want my Go box,
Hmm.
and those aren't cheap. To get the box plus the 3 or 4 shelving pieces I need and a few other things I need just to get started, we're in the $400 range.
Hmm.
But I want to get that box and I want to get that hex beam. Those are the 2 things. And then the only other thing that I really want to buy, I want to spend like $200 and get me a nice vertical HF antenna, something I can take. Portable.
They got a bunch of vertical HF antennas over there at the swap shop. I don't know if Joe would be willing to let go of any of them, but you know, that might be cheaper than having to go out and buy a brand new one.
I'll ask him. I got a
Yeah.
mount on my van that some of them might go on. I also just want something I can set up. I don't need to drive around with it, but I want something I can go somewhere, set it up, and use it.
Go. Yeah.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I guess we're gonna let it go for the night. I do appreciate it.
It's been
Well, all right, I guess.
It's been interesting. If anybody's in here right now and you missed the tour of the station earlier, all you have to do is go to the SWFLtech.net YouTube channel, pull up this video. It's going to be the top video, and then just run it back to the beginning, and you'll see where we were there. I produced the last 30 minutes of the show on the Zoom meeting, and about the last 20 minutes of the show on YouTube. You could see that, and then we took a tour around the TV station and the radio stations, and you can check all that out. So it's all earlier tonight in tonight's video. And other than that, I apologize for the mess tonight. It's been a strange night.
It goes, yeah, crazy night.
But at least, as we say in the business, we got it on the air, and that's really all that counts.
That's what gets, yeah.
Yep.
You gotta do.
All right, guys. Well, I start my busy weekend tomorrow. We'll see
Yep.
how crazy it gets, and I'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
All righty. Have a good night,
There
everybody.